Investing. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's silence. Alrighty, we're live. What's going on, family? Peace, power, and profit to you guys. Hope you guys can hear me. What's going on? What's going on? Peace, power, and profit. Giving me a minute here to get all my little technicals together. What's going on, Oba Chris?
Peace over AE. Peace,
What's
power,
going
and
on
profit.
with you, man? Shout out to you.
Oh, chilling, man.
We got this calendar new year, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrate the March 25th, real new year, but I'll go along with it.
when things spring forth.
Yeah, man. I
Yeah.
got to see some seeds sprouting and some flower buds and stuff, man. Talking some New Year in the winter. Man.
Yeah.
But I ain't hit the rain on about the parade. You know how joke would be when they be getting all
Facts.
How's everything been, man?
Man, it's been good, but I ain't gonna it's been good, man. I ain't gonna lie, it's a daily grind, just trying to sharpen up every day. Keep them core principles, you taught us, and just thank the ancestors for keep pushing me. You know what I mean?
Still winning. That's
Yep.
it. And you've been killing it. I already, it goes without saying. I always say, your actions will speak louder than your words. And when you lead by example, people just see the trail of, of influence and the trail of encouragement and the trail of opportunity. So again, it goes without saying, you guys doing exactly what you were, destined and you've been driving yourself to be able to, put yourself in a position to be where you're at, and you're reaping the benefits. It's just getting started, of course, because how this stuff go. We never get to a point where we got it all. We still on that path, right? That war path.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's more than I can even begin to imagine, man. When we kind of really got focused as a community. I mean, even Discord days and all that, and people coming through and trying to figure out, what is this market stuff all about, or at least at the intricate level that we were participating at it,
Right.
And who knew? A lot of those guys came and went. Some of them still around.
Yeah.
Some of them have really taken, the bull by the horns, literally, and really expanded on the opportunity that it afforded us. So I'm excited, getting to still be around here. And I can say, I think definitively around about 2016, 2017, it was a really big power shift. And I use that as a benchmark because I think right at that point, that's when Bitcoin really went crazy too. It was around about $1,700 a token, $1,100 a token. We start really, talking about it a lot through the Urban Economic Empowerment Show. I think it was around about $1,900 a coin at that point. And I was like, hey guys, with Garfield and guys and Monica and Sister Cheryl, it's like, hey guys, something to look at. It's this new asset, and people was in the chat like, what's all this Bitcoin, man? What this is, a scam? What this brother talking about?
Yeah.
What all this financial stuff, man?
We was talking about that yesterday. I had to remind people, man, that we've been doing this almost close to damn near a decade.
Yeah.
And you see, everybody growing. Nobody stands still, from that day. I'm just like, I was just telling people the story, like from the morning show with Garfield, Mo, and Cheryl, and then you came on, and I remember everybody was like, "Hey man, who's the brother doing the stocks and the Bitcoin, man? I need to get his contact."
Yeah.
And ever since
then, you're right. We were all, wide out and bushy tail, we had our perspective, we, had our value where we were. And again, just seeing that transformation. And I'm only having this conversation now. It's not like we kind of hit a pinnacle, but I'm just saying now when you do a reflection, it's always good to go back to a point where you knew there was a big power shift within the community as a whole. And I think that was a very pivotal point where you really start seeing people get excited. Because I think I'm only saying it now. What's going on over Brandon? They overlook you. I was going to introduce you and say bring you in, proper fashion. What's going on with you?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Chris? What's going on?
What's up?
What's going on, brother? What's going on? Just kind of laying out that old groundwork, man. When we kind of really, hit that hard turn, hard left in Albuquerque, and the lights, the light bulb just kicked on for so many people, man. And
I haven't looked back.
I just look back because I'm just saying it because during that time, y'all know Sal Discord was really popping, and the likes of that, it was just a lot of great minds that came through there, a lot of people who had, various experiences, and it was just a perfect environment, for anybody who was hungry, who didn't want, straight no chaser, just what it was, right? And it just everybody kind of self-auto corrected, and everybody kind of helped each other. Again, just one of those wonderful moments. And I look back and I say that because I say, well, every year, I see people in passing, like some of the people who were around, again, different Discord. I was in several, you guys were in several. It was just interesting, man. It just, people, again, have morphed into some really, I should say some really good influences in this game. And I'm saying influences meaning they were hungry enough where they brought other people with them, They didn't just say, I got this little skill, say, I'm just going to learn it by myself, and I'm just going to go, hide out somewhere. They were always trying to give back. I guess that's the best way to put it. And so again, a year in review is just that. You think about last year, the years that preceded that into this year, what we have, on our own individual goal sets and ideology that we want to kind of, corral around. And I'm just excited, to hear what the family got going on this year. What are some of the, the end goals your guys have in mind for a year worth of, grinding. And again, it just gets excited because it's a benchmark moment. You say, well, we're at the top of the year now, right? We're at the top. What happened here, it's either gonna roll uphill or it's gonna roll downhill, one way or the other. So I'm excited for that, man. So yeah, I guess, again, I'm gonna throw the link out there, guys, in the chat. Y'all know how we do over here. We're Communiversity over here. We always like to, include everybody who's willing, who's who want to add, value to the moment. And so guys, definitely, chime in if you can. Like always, I'm doing these impromptu meetings. I feel like sometimes they are the best because you just come, shoot from the hip. We kind of got a gist of everything that we already stand for. Now we just having, those casual conversations, just kind of doing a temperature check, seeing how everybody's doing. So my best to everybody, first and foremost, my best to your families, my best to your goals, my best to, anything you have going on and needing that positive affirmation, definitely want to speak life to that and truth to power to that as well. So again, we start the year off right, hungry, of course, as always. Even looking at the stock market, the futures, kind of peaking a little bit early, but we know what that looked like for the last couple of weeks. It's been, like grenades out there on the battlefield on the stock market. So we'll definitely get into that too. So yeah, I just open up the floor, man. So I mean, what's been going on, guys? It's been a minute. What's going on over Brandon, over Chris? What's really, what's on you guys' radar kind of kicking off the year, kind of, just kind of, we'll work in reverse because you see I have a couple of topics in the YouTube. I have terrorist attacks, of course. That's a big thing that's happened, like starting the year off with that foolishness.
Right.
Of course, stock market outlook, and then we got social media buzz. So I guess we're working in reverse. We'll start out with social media buzz because that's been popping a lot lately too. A lot of things going on with that. And then we'll just kind of work our way back through stock market into terrorist attacks or whatever.
Brandon, you want to go first?
Nah, I really ain't got nothing. Just I'm waiting for President, Elon Trump, to take over this world that we're working with. So that's pretty much it. I want to see what that outcome is going to be like. And it's funny. I don't know if you guys seen the explosion in New York, or not New York, but Vegas.
Yeah.
Like you got Elon's vehicle in front of Trump Towers. That doesn't send a message to anybody. That's funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the Cybertruck. Yeah, and again, just and that's a
Olu
part of
posted
terrorist
it in the
attack.
chat.
Just kind of speaking to that. They open the year up with a bang. I think it's something crazy. Again, people always say that in hindsight, but it really is one of those thought processes because we came from the Y2K scenario, right? That whole idea that the world gonna end at 2000 and all the 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 clickbait propaganda at that point. Now we just look forward to every year now as it being something crazy because we had a I should say a very hyper vigilant time where even with elections now they're becoming like Hunger Game type of events. Everything comes with a whole lot of tense and sensitivity and the world gonna burn down and Hatfield and McCoy is my side against your side, East Coast, West Coast. It is really has gotten that bad, guys. No more of the days where you had a little anonymity and you can vote in peace and private and you stood on your own little business. And now it's like jokers coming up, you checking your paperwork. It's a whole new different social dynamic now. And even how we value and view social media, and what that pertains to, are we progressing or are we kind of devolving as a as a I should say as a superpower. In this case, we speak about America, but it's just been crazy, guys. And again, so we'll jump right into it, man. It's terrorist attacks, and we'll start there. I mean, kind of seeing, this whole idea with Trump, right? The idea that you had 2 attempts on man's life. I mean, what else? What's next? At some point, the crazies out there, they're gonna try to destabilize the situation. How stuff go when when there's a little brush fire, people gonna throw gas on it when they can, and it's just been crazy, guys. So I mean, y'all think it was a terrorist attack, or you guys think it was just some old homegrown nut job? What do you guys' opinion on that?
I don't.
My opinion. I'll go ahead, Chris.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's just weird because I think they rented the vehicle. I think from Harris County. Well, no, that was New Orleans. That was the New Orleans issue. Never mind. That's something different. So, but with that, I think it's hard to say about that one because it's a coincidence that it's a Tesla vehicle in front of Trump Towers in Vegas.
Again, you making that connection, right? Like, what's the odds? It was this idea of a Tesla, it being in front of Trump's again his establishment there. The idea that they having this little somewhat infighting going on right now with the MAGA crew and the Doge crew. So y'all, we're gonna talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Elon and Vivek, so a lot of things going on right now. Yeah, again, it's lots of things, to really put it in context and figure out, what's the temperature right now of the country going forward. We gotta literally now, what 19 days before we swear in the next president, the new old president, as one would say. Right, the old president, however you want to put it. It's crazy, so again, it's you couldn't make this stuff up, right? So on that kind of scenario where you say couldn't make this stuff up. So let me jump right over to one of those headlines real. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I'm definitely gonna say that's a message. Like that's a subliminal message right there for anybody. All the buildings in Vegas, and you pick this one in particular, and then all the vehicles you could have chose to pick, you pick that one. I mean, I don't know if it was a terrorist attack or somebody with money who's left winged or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't like them. I mean, but it was definitely a message for them too. So, if Secret Service need to be on it, they need to be on it, and not miss this shot or catch this shot in a sense because they missed the last one.
Right.
Man, I'm to my and nobody got fired from that yet, to my knowledge, I don't think, right?
Nope.
You got 2 assassination attempts and no one got fired. Man, look.
Well,
What
I'm
is
sorry to
going on
say,
here?
and I'm sorry to say, and I hope Secret Service don't come to my door. That man gone. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Ain't no
Yeah.
way.
Crazy, man. That's
It's
crazy.
again, it's a social dynamic change now where, man, we've never seen nothing like. Well, we say that in terms of our current status as a society, where before, when we were having somewhat, stints of people trying to assassinate the president. Of course, the last official one was Reagan, of course. They put them, they didn't take him out though, but they tried Reagan twice, wasn't it? When they tried like Reagan, I think twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he
Twice, yeah.
Something like that. And the days of old with that seem to be a thing of the past, because people, as we progress as a society, we became more militarized in terms of law enforcement. This ideal of, we're gonna show, lead by strength and unrelentless, kind of, pain if you ever try to come against, government or whatever, right? We went through a real age of just militarizing all the police value, and it kind of put some in people's cycle, like, you dare not try nothing like that, right? You had your little small, I guess you want to call them, little sleeper cell moments, of course, bombings of buildings and, your school shooting, but, we're talking about taking it to the systems, so to speak, as opposed to just taking it to your fellow Americans, right? Then beyond that, of course, 9/11, right? Which was the whole terrorist attack scenario. So again, but the days of thinking that someone would even try president, though, I think that's been far and few between in a lot of people's mind, right? So again, you saw it happen twice with Trump. A lot of people upset. Of course, there's a lot of memes going around. I post a lot of them. The whole meme with Kamala sitting in the meeting and the guy leaned into it like, the shooter missed.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we making fun of it, but we can have this dry humor because we understand what this is about, right? This is them eating their own, right? This is this is cannibalism at the political level. Essentially, that's what it is, because they put the battery in the people's back to make people feel like these things are necessary, right? Because they're too involved in the political foray of the this illusion that these politicians really going to war for them. You know what I'm saying? So they're willing to put on their homogenous combat boots and go out there and do the bidding of their particular political party. That's where we are now, guys. It is really that crazy. I hate to say it's that bad. I think it's just a lot of crazy, but it can fuel into something a lot bigger. You know what I'm saying? If it goes unchecked. And it's so much so that people have now becoming even more desensitized to these kind of events, these type of events. So you think about this whole idea, even with the, with Trump, someone taking a Cybertruck, parking it out front. And of course, I don't know if y'all saw some of the video. Did y'all see some of the videos from it?
The one you posted
live
in the
footage
group.
of it when it exploded, what caused it to explode?
Yeah, the one you put it in the group, I seen.
Yeah, so when it exploded, it was basically a lot of fire. Somebody packed the back of it with a lot of fireworks. And we're talking about lithium-ion batteries, right? These lithium phosphate batteries, it's not like gas and combustible engines, right? We're not talking about you got to have something kind of attached to the gas tank to kind of trigger the fuel, right? This is lithium, iron, aluminum, all these different composites that magnesium, when they have certain chemical combination, it can cause sparks, right? It can cause even a more ugly explosion than that of gasoline in some cases. People don't think about it that way, but essentially that's what you're dealing with here. You got gunpowder and lithium phosphate, iron, magnesium, all the little things back in science day, your science chemistry day. You're like, well, what do these two chemicals do? You mix them together.
Yeah.
But essentially that's what caused the again, if you saw the backdraft to it, all the little fireworks popping in the back, and it blew up. It was just crazy, but it shook the building. The
that could be a message in itself too.
Say again?
Mm-hmm. That could be a message in itself too. You said fireworks in the back of the truck.
Yeah. It was a lot of fireworks. And I need to find that one clip. It was maybe I can find it. But yeah, when it blew up again, it had the little shock wave and the backdraft of it, but fireworks were popping all off in the back. So the Joker then went down to a firework alley, some little warehouse and loaded the back with fireworks.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, this crazy. So that, yeah,
Think
clearly
about
someone
the
took signal.
last time he was in office. What happened?
Yeah. Someone was sending the signal, guys. That's why I look at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It was a riot last time he was in the White House.
Yeah.
At the Capitol. Now you getting
You said
fireworks and a riot. Remember when they stormed the
okay.
Yeah. When they stormed the Capitol last time he was in office. Now you wait till January 1st to put a specific vehicle in front of a specific building, and yeah, this is some type of message. This is some type of message. But beware of the damn propaganda.
Yeah.
Beware of the propaganda.
Oh, they finna. Oh man, they're gonna try everything they can to milk this stuff. Because now, I can say, in the age of commentary and all these things like that, again, it's just it's no holds barred. They ain't even signed in. I was gonna see if I can go to my Twitter. I don't know if this thing connected. Let me see. But no, it's the social media fanfare behind a lot of this stuff is, again, it's like the content creators are killing it right now. They have endless content thrown their way because everything now is just so hypersensitive, right? People looking for stuff now. And when you have society kind of moving in that perspective, you will have those people who go out there and try to induce that kind of fear. Now, we know them as supposedly false flags, but with deadly consequences. You see what I'm saying? One outcome to try to imbue another one, right? To invoke another one, so to speak, right? And I think a lot of this stuff is just kind of it's literally trying to destabilize I guess Trump coming into office and keep everybody on their pins and needles and seeing what's going to come of when he gets back in office, how is he going to respond to this stuff, right? Besides these little sound bites you see him doing, in passing, if you will, right? But it's just crazy, guys. Let me see if I can try to.
I think something's going to happen on the inauguration day,
man. Yeah. That's something that people are definitely, looking at like, yeah, bro, you may have to get you some people out there, right? Yeah. You may have to get you some people out there.
I think inauguration, what is Monday the 20th on Martin Luther King's Day?
On the 20th, yep.
Something's going to happen that day. I think something's going to happen there.
You just say it just seemed to be too
Wait a minute, you said Martin Luther King Day?
Yeah.
Yes, it's on Jan 20th, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. They gonna get his ass.
Not trying to be like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but come on, man, it lines up.
Again, it's the whole idea that they're
wouldn't be
maybe
surprised.
It's just too the coincidences of doing things on certain days and making things a spectacle or watering down important dates with other stuff, right? There's the idea of trying to take away from the the importance of a certain day. Now we know this to be just something they do, but they got the opportunity. They can change this stuff if necessary if they wanted to, right? But it's just it's a mess, man. It's a mess. What's going on, Sister Monica? See you then popped in the building.
Hey, peace, power, and profit, everybody. What's up, big?
How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you in the building. Happy, we kind of kicking off this. I call it the Canada New Year. I was telling the guys that earlier, kind of get things started.
Yeah, listen, I so off on years, I done work on federal years, state years. I'm like, oh yeah, it is January.
Yeah, we don't take no days off. I know I don't, because I don't even think.
Yep, I just left office.
Right. So I'm like, it's another day, another way. And I'm all for it. If it's about, making things get down and, all the, opportunities there for it, I'm all for it. So but
Right.
yeah, as you probably seen in the title, we're just kind of doing a little, little top of the year commentary to kind of set our minds and turns in motion what we got going. I know you guys already been crushing it, doing wonderful things. Of course, this whole past year, beyond all the I should say the outside world influence, you guys personal goals, you guys been, focused on, y'all been crushing it. I can just say that, with no kind of hesitation, you guys been crushing it. And I'm super, super happy, man. Just watching you guys. And I know I've been kind of, doing my little thing, of course, and just, doing what I need to do, I should say, and getting a lot of stuff taken care of I needed to around here. But beyond that, just kind of moving and passing. I just been watching you guys. Y'all been crushing it. Like I was telling the guys earlier before you came on, again, what I mean, even for you, Sister Monica, what was that kind of it factor for you this past year, 2024, that really got you excited about, elevating yourself, and your potential future, plans and things.
Wow. Wait, let me ask you this before. Oh, there it goes. I was getting ready to. Were you sharing the screen? Because I couldn't see nothing. My screen was black.
Yeah, I was earlier. Then I stopped because I was trying to log into Twitter. You see, I'm over here now plugging at it.
Okay. Yeah. Now I actually can see you. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So, yeah, I had a very interesting year. We have a new state representative in District 10 with District 52, and he's an advocate for environmental justice. So in, I think, the spring of 2024, I was privileged to hear him speak, and he were looking for individuals who were interested in learning how to grant write or just being a part of the team, doing some community engagement. And I wasn't familiar with that ram of things, for lack of better words. And so I joined the team. And since then, I have learned how environmental issues affect social issues and health issues. And so we've done capacity retreats as it relates to Lower Richland and the air pollution and the water pollution, and Westinghouse as a nuclear plant, which since November of 2023 has been taken over by two other companies. And also I've had the opportunity to see how you can leverage the university professors to strengthen your grants, to help facilitate, along with the high school, facilitate the youth in testing water and learning how to identify whether or not your water is drinkable, or knowing what filters to use in your kitchen to kind of help with poor water quality. I have done grant workshops with an EPA senior grant advisor, and then two other I guess you could say sub recipients or I guess they're like, yeah, subsidiaries of EPA with environmental protection grants. And so I've learned that they have these sub grants now for EPA in 11 regions, where they are getting community-based organizations to apply for sub grants, and you don't have to do all of that federal grant paperwork. And I actually opened up one of the applications tonight, and man, it's so simple. Chris and I and Brandon, we were all on live yesterday. That application is so simple. And I did, oh my God, maybe a month's worth of work trying to put an application together on environmental science or environmental issues and health issues and how it relates to social issues and a program. I mean, this is some great work. But when I opened the application, I said, this is it. It was just a description and a budget.
That's a dissertation in the making. There's so many avenues you can go down with that.
Yes.
It just reminded me because the missus, when she was at War College in Eisenhower, they had to do some of the presentation. They kind of and she did hers on the importance of basically like cannabis, and vet health, things of that nature, the use case value of it, the mycelium course, they're going into that's a big thing now with the giving these soldiers, different providing them different pathways to render, help, render their pain.
Yep, pain holistically
to a minimum. Yeah. And her, particular, professor at the time was just really, really, astounded by it. It's like, man, this is good enough. We might want to publish it, because we know that they're going there one way or the other, right? They're trying to, inculcate that into the Department of Defense as another, form of, again, therapy and help me for some of these soldiers, especially from the PTSD, the mental side, and the pain side, the physical pain side, right?
Correct.
With hemp, basically it was the medical hemp. But it's a need for a lot of people to really get, focus and kind of put out some good work that these people can use, at least to help, some of these, I should say the politician side of things to really, lobby these opportunities, right? Because they're coming one way or the other, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. Again, you can't speak clean energy initiative, things of that nature, without talking about cleaning up the environment, right? You got to start at the root, right? The root is we live in a toxic environment, a toxic community, right? When I say that, I mean the national is a very toxic community, where we've allowed, again, we call it big food, big pharma, big sugar, big all these people to basically just lay waste to, a lot of our, I should say our pristine value that's probably still here in this country, was few that's left. They just laid waste to it with toxic waste. Delaware, bad for that. The whole DuPont factory there. I mean, I was up in that area. I specifically know that they dumped stuff into that Delaware River.
Yep.
And like you couldn't make this stuff up. Like, man, who's the watchdogs here?
Exactly.
Like, who are these people that's supposed to be, EPA and all these people, whatever? But it's just crazy. What's going on, IOR? I see you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome, Monica. I love it, because that's always been my lane too, so.
Right. And yesterday was crazy because it's Chris, and Price, before we went live. We were looking at air pollution because I was gearing up for the next grant, and we came across urban air pollution, Chris? I think it was urban air pollution. And we was like, what is the urban air pollution? And when we looked it up, it specifically said urban air toxins. And when we looked it up, it specifically said toxins that are only in urban communities. It was 30 named toxins. We were floored. So one of the things the new representative says,
30, HAPs,
Yeah. One of the things that the new representative says all the time when he giving his speech, he say every social injustice starts with every social issue starts with an environmental injustice. And you will see your community in a whole different way, because I was having a debate with my friend Tanisha about food insecurity and environmental issues. And she kept saying, no, Mo, that's not, I don't see the connection. That's not you're not identifying environmental issues.
Deserts.
Yes. And I had to go, we had to pull the data that shows, food insecurity, food desert areas in disadvantaged communities is an environmental issue. And when Chris and I and Price, and we looking at the map, and we pulled up the food insecurity rate, the national rate is 12.2, and Texas is 14.6, I think it was, Chris, and they was 16.5, and they was like, what? Ain't no way. And when we drilled down in it and the counties and what food insecurity was, Hey, whole nother ball game. Make it
Yeah.
Look,
yeah,
it's
look, you got it up now. Yep, urban
mhm.
hair toxin. Look at
Yeah,
that.
you couldn't make this stuff up. You know, this, let me go back over. I was going to the food insecurity now,
And
but
when you
yeah, I mean,
go to the left
again, we're from the era of what we
and
call,
drill down
having what they
into
call. Go ahead, go ahead, Monica. You can hear me?
no, I was gonna tell you drill down to the area where it says area sources. Oh, I'm on mute.
Oh yeah,
Can you hear
yep,
me?
yep. I can hear you. I can hear you now.
And drill
Yep.
down where it says area sources of urban air toxins.
Yep. I'm there. So a
As
lot of these are things that are just relevant and prevalent in a lot of things. Because keep in mind, we're talking about back in even the I should say 50s, 40s, even the 60s, where you had, we had the lead paint issue, right? We had the
yep.
lead gas, right? Because obviously they ran highways right through Black communities.
And when
And
they
back then,
abandoned them,
lead was a big issue in the gasoline that caused a lot of respiratory issues, right?
mm,
Tons of asthma came out of that and many other bad, ailments. So totally understand that.
and the did you bring up the gas stations and just think about the abandoned gas stations that are in communities that they just trying to build over? How many tanks are still in the ground?
Ground, yep.
Mm,
Yep. Over time, if you don't maintain them, if you don't pull them up out the ground, like anything, nature has its play. Pressure, fault lines, tremble, that stuff can easily puncture, rupture or rust out some of these, these tanks. And next thing you know, you got leakage and seepage of that stuff right into the,
yep.
again, wells and running water environments. So it's a lot. Again, I always say, look, we ain't even got to even, we can go deep down in the weed, but I still just look at Flint. I was like, game over.
Yes.
I just look at Flint like, I mean, we still talk about Flint. We talk about what happened in Mississippi, right? No, Mississippi had the same issue.
Jackson.
Jackson,
Yep.
and they just purposely let it fester.
Oh, we got
all
it
while
going
you
on.
had people like Brett Favre, in cahoots with, with
Volleyball.
the state to take money out of, urban environments that needed that money for just for he can, build a stadium for his daughter to go play, sports in. Like, you couldn't make this stuff up.
Right. Look. How often have we taken our clothes to the dry cleaner facilities?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have never thought.
Yep. It's a lot of stuff out there that, we don't think about, again,
what
surface code. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, in one of the other areas is how these environmental factors are affecting the behavior of kids, and we thinking they just they're just bad, or there's some bad parenting, and they're not really paying attention that these environmental factors are that's getting into your soil, which is in turn is getting into the food, is affecting the mental health of your kids.
Very much so. Again, we're talking about autism being at an unprecedented, level where we've never seen that like this before. We're talking about, you hear Robert F. Kennedy go through his whole, ideal of what America looks like if we had, clean food, clean environments, less medication. Where before you had what they say, like it was like what 1 in 10, 1 in 20, something like that. Back in the 70s, now it's like 1 in 4. Like that's a crazy stat. Think about that. Like, that used to be taboo to hear about a child that had autism back in the 70s and 60s. Now it's common conversation. It's it's like every day, you hear about, somebody on the spectrum and this, that, and the third. It's crazy. And we know it's only attributed to one thing, really. Well, it's a combination thing, but we know kind of the root of where it comes from.
Right. Look at the hospital sterilizers. If you can't stay in the hospital where it's supposed to be clean and all apparatuses are
But
supposed
that's
to be
always been a
clean.
thing too, because think about those hospitals that are known for malpractices because of, lack of I don't even want to call it really lack of training. I see a lack of intent to do their job, properly as they've been trained to do. Killer
Mhm.
King, right, in LA. Uh, John Hopkins had a bad, rap at some
Oh
point, how
yeah.
they treated some of the blacks, black patients that came in and needed help. Medical apartheid, Carolyn Watts, again, that one of the most greatest, books that's out there in terms of how, we became basically, the test culture to a lot of these, hospitals. And some of it was this malicious intent, to
Mhm.
really, mess a lot of people up. But again, it comes from just like that. Again, conditions of these institutions, blood, laying around. In this case, saying sewage sludge incineration, not disposing of those things properly. You got people coming in with all type of bacteria, diseases, waste, and you don't dispose those things properly. Well, what are you going to have? Right? Or
Mhm.
lack of sterilization, right? Keep in mind, before they were opening up new packs, they had to kind of rewash their old tools, right? Sanitize them and put them back out there. Lack of proper sterilization. Somebody just breathing through it, not doing it properly, setting it back up, sending it back out because they're not taking what they do, as something serious.
Mm.
But this is a very, very, very interesting topic because again, I've definitely been on this for a while myself, understanding the basics of how we got here, right? Because I know for me, when I turned that curve in terms of my, my eating habits, my knowledge and consciousness of what I put in my body, the first thing, that was relevant to me, like, dude, you got to change the water you do, right? Because I was never a big tap water drinker until,
Mm.
when I, became like a adult, I was like really, into the bottled water thing because you kept hearing about how a lot of these, water treatment plants, things that nature, just they was horrible, right? So it started with the bottled water, and then it morphed into, trying to find cleaner foods, organic farm to table environments, things of that nature. It was really that bad. I mean, case in point, Poland, y'all know the water company Poland, they make the bottled water for
Yeah.
Poland.
Mhm.
They still getting sued, right? You know who
Mm.
owned Poland, right?
Mm-mm.
Nestle. Remember that whole scandal a while back when Nestle was taking
Oh.
Yeah, they do own them. Yeah.
they were taking tap water out the faucet, putting it in the water bottle, saying this was spring water from Poland.
Stop.
True story. Ain't not one liquor water came from no Poland. It came straight out the tap. And Nestle was making a killing off that.
Mm.
Hmm.
They're being still sued to this day. Nestle tried to kind of fight it through their big big lawyers, all that stuff out. They're gonna keep it on the rug. Them judges came back like, nope, we finna take this to trial. No, y'all gonna have to answer this.
Hmm.
True story. Yeah. Yeah. So again, you got people still doing mess like that. You know,
Mm.
yeah.
That's crazy. Yes, so that's the big matter of fact, that's the big talk right now, the whole environmental and health. But some people are really just having a hard time connecting the social issue to the environment and the health. They having a real hard time. So we've been working on a lot of training, trying to get people to understand it. Because it's unseen a lot, a lot of times it's something that's unseen, things that could seep into your pores and your skin and dissolves in your
Yeah.
body. Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally. Again, we're talking about first line defense is your skin, of course. Again, yeah, this is definitely my lane, and we
Mm.
talk about how eventually over time your body begins to break down immunity, things of that nature. The things that the fried chicken eaters that constantly ate it all the time and told us that you can still drink a 2 liter bottle of Coca-Cola, you still gonna have the same immunity level as you would
Oh.
if a person that drunk water. I'm gonna leave that alone, but I'm just saying you had people really out there telling people that stuff. And I'm like, come on, guys, y'all gotta be more, y'all gotta be, stop, man. Stop, guys. Come on now. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I mean, it's just crazy, man. Like crazy. Like, it's we got to a point again where we began to question basic common sense. And that's what you're getting now, this whole return of common sense now. We're back to common sense again because a lot of this stuff just got far-fetched. And the end result is what you're dealing with now. Again, you got, whole food deserts in urban centers.
Yep.
Right. So the first thing I said to myself, well, you mean urban centers are having their food deserts because you mean businesses do not want to go into those environments to help outfit the community with proper, clean, fresh foods, right? Essentially, that's what it is.
Yep.
It's a environment where you don't have ample grocery stores to accommodate the needs of the citizenry in that area. So what they rely on? They rely on the bodega.
Yep.
They rely on the corner store, the Quickie Mart, the 7-Eleven. They go in there buying bread, milk, cheese, candy, hot dogs out the little rotisserie thing, and they feeding their babies off that.
Hey, look up since you went there. Look up the statistic for malnutrition in disadvantaged communities.
I already know that's not. Yeah,
I know, because some people they be like, well, how can if you have the highest obesity across the track on one side and the highest malnutrition on the other side? Basically, just what you just said. Parents are working, kids don't have access to food, they eating processed stuff and candy and cookies all day. They may be able to provide for their child, but the child ain't getting proper nutrition.
Yeah. And it's not even. It's so obvious that again you talk about
click the little click the little link next to your paragraph at the top. That gives you you see the little DNA looking little deal next to your paragraph. The first paragraph.
The AI lab or
the AI, not the AI lab, but come up a little bit more. Come up.
Okay.
To the left. You see how you see those little DNA looking little icons? Those are what the sources, and if you click on them, it's gonna take you to the government source.
Okay.
Go up.
I'm lost. Well, you talking about over to the right?
To the left. Go to the left and go up a little bit. So you see how you have all these little at the end of each
tabs. Yeah, the tabs.
Yeah,
those. Yeah. That's how I do it. That's what seeing something else like over here. Yeah, those tabs are very again.
It'll take you to the link. It'll take you to the website of those sources.
Yep. So you think about even this one right here with the social detriments, things like the unequal distribution of resources, discrimination, social isolation. Very, very important value there where, again, you have communities being choked out, and they're being surrounded by within a 50-mile radius where you may have any countryside where there may be some kind of value of farming. But those things not going into those environments. They're going into the restaurants then in those environments, but they're not going into the grocery store. They're not enough grocery stores to be able to house what you get in terms of that, right? They're not, and that falls back on the city management.
Now watch this. When you think in terms of reparations, right? If you're following some of the narrative on how some of the cities are going about the people getting the reparations, these type of statistics and how it's disproportionate for the community and creating these social disparities is how they're going about getting it.
Yeah.
And so it's like you take out if you can use your ethnicity or race as the outline, but point out the environmental injustice, the social injustice, and the health injustices, and you got the statistics right there, and it shows you the map of the communities, how it relates nationally. This is not happening by accident. This is a zoning, rezoning, coding issue, because these same areas, if you looked up a zoning map and where businesses can be placed, 9 out of 10, you can't get a catering company or a grocery store in that community because it's probably rezoned for highly industrial, or it may be or it may be a protected area for conservation, or something of that nature. So that's all the stuff I've been learning.
Perfect example right up the street from me in Baltimore. It's areas in Baltimore that just like that, and I'm saying that too because once you cross over certain parts of the like the way Baltimore, if you look at Baltimore on the map, it's a very weird, city layout because all the water, right? The inland, the waterways, and the little tributaries that come and snake in and out. So it kind of breaks it up, right?
Mhm.
And down there, I should say, we call it, down near the Under Armour, where the Under Armour plant's at, or the bougie side of Baltimore, before you go north up there in Tosin and all those other areas up there. South Baltimore, that's where they have the Under Armour plant, right? They have all these, upscale, businesses up in there. Our homegirl out of Atlanta, she just opened up a restaurant there, Slutty Vegan.
Yes, let it be.
You open up her latest one down there, and so that's the Ritz area, right? So that's where all the athletes hang out at, people like that, But again, you're talking about those environments as opposed when you go enter, Baltimore, when you're like off Moravia. Like if you guys familiar with Baltimore, this always, if you hear Moravia Street, that's the street you need to kind of pay attention. That's like when you think about Old National in Atlanta, Old Nat, or like certain parts of New York and Tennessee and LA, like that's Moravia is one of them. Then you got Far Road and others, but Moravia, that's down like the Gentleman's Club, the Gold Club at, Ray Lewis got caught up at. but all that whole little strip on Moravia when you come off the interstate, it's like that. It's that deep urban environment. You see the inequity value in terms of how the city is not really, it's just over police. I mean, you literally almost block to block. You got police cruisers and cars up and down the street. It's bad. And then again, bodegas, corner stores, no grocery stores really in sight. You got to go way off grid to even go to the grocery store. So a lot of those kids or people in that environment, they're convenience store living. And then whatever they can't get out the convenience store, it's the 12 chicken wings for $4 at the local Chinese spot. Chicken wings look like them type be looking like that there. Them big old giant chicken wings. Like, wait, hold on. Where y'all find that chicken at, bro?
You said they look like turkey legs.
Walk to my thing, walk around looking like this. Wait, what is this? Praying mantis chicken? What is this? And they fry them hard too. Fry them hard and serve them right on out that window. And them you couldn't make this stuff up. Again, it is crazy, and again, and outside of that, then you go down towards the harbor, down where the aquarium, everything at down there, again, in a district area before you can get to Camden Yards, where the baseball stadium, again, you know what that is. That's the gentrification. It's like, but literally a block away from that, we say a block away, but everything from that wall is poverty, urban, like the city just said, forget all that. Y'all on your own, but this area we're gonna protect this because this is the last little value of tourism destination. We can pull people in and come in where they feel like they can feel I guess warranted and safe, right? It's crazy, and it's like that all over the place where you go. In certain parts, even with DC, same scenario. It's crazy, man. But again, we've seen these things so many times. It's like, okay, yeah, this is the status quo now. Gentrification is serious. But a lot of it now, where it used to be what they call citizenry gentrification on a culture class value of it, now it's being corporate gentrification. It's coming back now. They either buying out whole swaths of of the city blocks and repurpose them for their own value, or they're doing what we saw with Blackstone. Remember, we talked about this a while back. Even post-COVID, by a lot of these commercial investment bankers were going out buying up commercial property. Unheard of. That was a hard clause that Senate, members, congressional members put out hard to these people. Like, stay away from that. That's what citizenry. You guys got no business being in the business of trying to be landlords. But what do? They went out, bought up whole subdevelopments, and now they're becoming what they call landlords, investment bankers.
Yep.
Why would they do that, right? Again, you couldn't make this stuff up. So again, and then they price everybody out in the environment, who are close in proximity to that, and you have, a self-fulfilling prophecy of, again, they're weeding out, they're stressing out the dynamic of, again, the wealth inequality even more so, because a person who's 40 hours barely getting by, they can't compete with an investment bank. They're not going to compete with investment bank even going to another bank to borrow money to do more of their project when they want to take a chance on that, that individual citizen that's saying, hey, this is what all I got. I'm trying to do my best, but I want my little piece of American pie. Would you guys, bridge me a loan to get me? It's like, how you going to compete with that? It's that bad. So again, the fallback is communities are not co-op like they need to be, meaning they don't have the agency of co-op in a way that they need to. You start to see it in some places, but not a lot of places, right? It's not enough. Well, meaning the community got to come together, pool their resources together, and build out their own, perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that people still haven't got that memo. They keep waiting on city councils and that kind of scenario to kick in. But it's like, it's like cold serve. You can be there all day waiting on that. It's crazy, guys. But no, this is, man, I tell you, this is definitely something that I've been, it's been in my purview for years. This just been a part of it. Because again, I used to do this kind of stuff, right? That was my weekend thing, my community outreach. I would load up my cooler with sea moss, smoothies, sour salt drinks, tinctures. I had black seed oil, and I just go to environments. I'm in Philly. I'm in, I go up in Newark, New Jersey. I cross over into Camden. I was Baltimore, like the hood. I go up in them places. I was just driving between New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania or Philly, Delaware, Maryland, and that was my stomping ground. Of course, DC part, certain part, and I would just do that every weekend. That was my community outreach. And, talk about stocks, talk about health and wealth, and that was it. Hey, try this instead. See them kids sitting there, drinking all that sugar water bakes out the corner store. And I was just like, man, hey, I know I'm in charge $5, man. This one's on me. Get this to your baby. Here's some sea moss. I'm telling you, this is sea moss, agave, coconut water, and fruit. And here, get it. That was my thing, because I knew it, because you look at the kids, you can tell that these kids are, again, you know what it is. Y'all know what it is. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but y'all know what it is.
We definitely know.
Yeah, it just breaks my heart, man, mentally, because I'm like, man, you see what's going on. You see you see what's going on, right? They finessing us. The system in itself, it's a whole finesse.
And the system knows if it keeps them high on sugar, then those behaviors would never change.
Come on.
Say it again. And guess what? That means they get to categorize them. And guess what? You use the statistics, get you some money in the school. You ain't gonna pay the teachers. It goes all in the top heavy pockets. And there we go. Now we have kids acting up, don't know what's wrong with them. They can't talk. They can't relate because they don't realize, they don't know that it's, and like
they get misdiagnosed, which is the end result.
They get mixed. Say it again. Say it again. Straight misdiagnosis.
More grant money to isolate those kids to even more worse than what they think they get in terms of health. If they're in urban environments that really don't have the personnel for it. Go ahead, Over.
No, I was going to say that the perfect system to keep us working.
It is. It's the perfect system. It, again, remind me of the movie Tron, right?
Yeah.
When he made an image of himself, he's like, I'm giving you the task of, I want you to create the perfect system. And then Clue went out there and did his own thing. He went out there, built his own system. And them people, that's what money does to people. It takes a lot of moral courage to do the right thing. In essence, where, again, when you don't put yourself at the forefront of the need for service, if you separate yourself from it and do what you're supposed to do, then guess what? You're doing it, from the strength, from the heart. But a lot of these people are looking for, these people are just looking for jobs. They ain't looking for duty. It's a different reality, right? Because those are duty-orientated type of goals and missions. You're trying to stop the bleed, essentially. That's like a medic going into a war-torn environment, and she knows, or he or she knows, they're gonna be dealing with from punctures to frag wounds and all kinds of stuff like that, right? And they go up in there with what? with a couple Band-Aids, a canteen of water, some comic books, and a whole lot of conversation as opposed to what material to fix people.
Right.
know,
And then
it's crazy.
Yeah. And then I noticed, I remember the comment was made, shut the food programs down because y'all said that the food was gonna help the kids learn and the statistics didn't change. Well, if you got that old bogus meal pattern standard that you holding the schools to, that how is
They
it gonna
finally did
change?
away with that. Look how long it took them to do away with that.
No, they in some respect they still have that crazy. Well, they
I'm
added.
talking about
Let me
the
say
pyramid
this.
one.
Yeah, the pyramid, right.
Yeah.
They got rid of the pyramid one, so you got this whole my plate idea, and then you call yourself doing something and allowing schools to put fast food on campus. You just added salt to injury.
Man, I thought we came a long way. I'm telling my age, but we came a long way from them square pizzas, them peanut butter sandwiches for breakfast. Man, that stuff was, even back then was still better than what they tried to eat today.
You ain't never lied. Hey,
square pizza.
Mayonnaise sandwiches with tomatoes is better than what they eat in school today.
Tell me about it.
Look, if you when you
know with friends back then, but them lunch used to hit. Man, I don't care what Dirk say, but they talk that shit. Them lunch used to hit.
Yeah, and if you
go back to the last sometime.
You have to carefully, because we drafting out, trying to draft out programs to meet the need and to bring in. You mentioned jobs to bring in. Oh, somebody got the mic open. Sustainability. How do you create the sustainability side of it? You create a program, but you still gotta make a way to sustain, and then that's when you have to tap into. Okay, what about what you're doing can bring in some type of economic compensation, capital to your program. You start thinking about what's attached to it, whether it's transportation, whether it's selling a product, or create some type of training system that you can attach. Or if you look at how the other businesses that plot themselves into your community, they plot themselves into those rural areas so they can get those tax cuts, and then they're partnering to get the half the funds back with the on the job trainings. And so, we trying to package all of that into whole bunch of different organizations to say, hey, listen, you guys got to start thinking about this totally different than the way you used to. And you have to make your case. You got to be able to make it. The statistics is there. We're looking at them. You got them up on the screen. The statistics is there. Poverty, food insecurity. It's so massive. When you finish looking at that, look at the map on food insecurity and again in disadvantaged communities. The map is crazy.
Yeah.
The map is crazy. We looking at the map like ain't no way all these kids are hungry. But when you pull that thing up, you be like, oh my goodness. Yeah, click that green one. Yeah, this the one. I think this is the one we're looking at. If you hover over the state, this all the part you missed, Brandon. Hover over any of that green or any of that states, it'll tell you the poverty it'll show you the statistic of the insecurity in those areas. Look at that. Now the national average is 12.2. Hey, look, and then look, it's 12.8. You hovering over what click now click on the state and it'll expand it. It'll open the state up a little bit more so you could click you can kind of get you could drill down. So look, all the dark spot is over the national average. Isn't that crazy?
And and reason why I picked South Carolina and Georgia because I'm sure y'all already went through this and hear you talk about it.
Georgia.
Again, some of the things I've seen in passing a while back. Not at this level because graphics have gotten better in terms of how they render data and they be able to kind of compile a lot of it. A lot of stuff back then was just old hard data. You had to kind of go through it like line for line, see what's going on. But I'm saying that because you talk about these are agricultural states.
Yes.
You got food insecurity in agricultural states.
How you say it again?
After crop fields, after crop fields. Like, what are they growing? opportunity, air and opportunity, or they really
Hey.
growing air sandwiches? What they, y'all got these crop fields actually
Listen,
how
tell
to
me
not
what
translate.
what is the Hebrews or whomever who always talk about, their farms and turning over crops and things of this nature? I'm saying, somebody's like, why are you always talking about feed programs? Because I'm like, do you see the money grab in it?
Yeah. That's the part where again I say this to I'm blue in the face, and I know it's preaching to the choir because you guys are on this stuff, and you realize it because again we have the privilege, and I say privilege meaning we put in enough work to realize that to see what we see. We're not being fooled, right? So the 30,000 feet view from that perspective is that that the system in terms of how money is allocated when we do these budgets, like these annual budgets that come out of congressional value, right? Right
Yep.
now we just had another a CR, right? Another within the stopgap basically for government shutdown, and they keep they're kicking the can down the road for a reason because again it keeps governance unstable where they can't really do their job because they're always in lieu of having to kind of reprioritize where money needs to go for the next particular governance cycle, be it quarterly, whatever. So it's a bad way to do business, essentially. Like if that was a private company, they'll be out of business, right? Because you can't really plan, beyond, biannual or annually when you have to deal with quarter for quarter, destabilizing where you need to prioritize where funds need to go. So you're making rash decisions on the fly based on a lot of emotion, some data, but a lot more emotion than you are hard, tangible evidence, right? So the grip is that these congressional seats are getting this money, because that's why they always slipping in stuff. All this support to get slipped into these budgets. That's why they do it. That's the purpose of why they do it. Because guess what? The kickbacks are coming back.
Yep.
To them. They're lobbying, right? It's a whole hustle. We know what it is again, because we're as market participants, we always follow the way.
Follow money.
You follow the money. That tells you where the priorities lie. It ain't all about this social, camaraderie or what you think, or what you hope, should be happening, actually happen. No, that's not how this stuff works, right? That's the same goes. That's not how this stuff works. You have to follow the actual money and see what they're actually doing. It's not do what I say, it's follow what they're doing. And the end result of things like this, again, you talk about states that have a certain, threshold, if you will, or cost of living. When you take Georgia, it takes what? It says $3.95 for the average meal cost in Georgia. What kind of meal you gonna get with $3.95?
A wish sandwich?
Man, I'm talking about with extra cheese or extra no cheese.
All the trimmings.
No cheese on that, sir. What you gonna buy with $3.95?
Oh, you know what you give them? One rib.
One rib. Can you pour it in my hand for
one rack of rib?
I'm gonna drink in my hand for a nickel or a quarter. Come on,
right.
Man. Come on, man.
No barbecue sauce. It's just one rib.
You straight.
I sure am hungry.
Get your packet in.
Hey,
Bruh.
hover it over New York.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Because again, we talking about like I was talking about with Baltimore and places like that because again, it's crazy. Let me blow it up a little bit.
You guys are good over there.
Say again.
Look like you guys are good over there.
Well, DC.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why? Come on now.
Yeah, White House right there.
Loudoun County, Fairfax County. Come on, all this.
So what would be that little part right there? No, come over to the left.
Over here,
right there. What's that?
This West Virginia and Pennsylvania.
Gotcha.
So you already know. Again, we talking about mountainous regions like West Virginia. You see what's going on here. 15, 17. Again, these are people who living in the woods, deer hunters, stuff like that. But again, it's still talking about isolated areas too, because again, their scenario is based in land topography, right? What commercial businesses want to come in and do things in isolated areas to a degree. But I only use that as an excuse. Why? Because y'all know as well as I know, especially people in the South. The old school grocers that used to be in business before Walmart's came.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be that. There were people who grew up in this in the industry, new farmers. They knew how to source up Piggly Wigglies. Come on, Southern people. Where my Southern people at?
Mm-hmm.
I can't be the only one who knew about Piggly Wigglies, right?
Yep.
Winn Dixie,
Yeah, we
Winn
had
Dixie
them.
back in
Yep.
the day.
Piggly Wiggly.
Man,
AMP.
bruh.
More on it.
Man,
When
they
did
had
this?
great relationship with the butchers and in an environment that slaughter hogs. That endless, you had endless supply of good meat. And the farmer that grew the vegetables, man, look, all that stuff been run out of business now.
All gone now. All
Don't
gone.
make this stuff up, bro. And then what happens now is the high dollar jokers want to come in because they feel like if they got any new urban new developments growing up, well, we talking about houses. Let's say the medium income is like 40,000. If they could pump out houses around the $200,000 range, $100,000 range, around about 250, if they can just get those people there, they're gonna bring in. They try to sneak in some of those high end groceries.
And guess
Right.
what? And our elected officials, only thing they know is economic development. They don't care that
they are the ones who are causing
yes.
destabilization.
You like,
Again, it's crazy. It's crazy.
you guys are bamboozled. It's gonna bring economic development. They just I was telling them off of Bluff Road A, they just let the city annex a portion of Bluff Road, and they getting ready to build a farmers market, a magistrate office.
Y'all talking about judge's office.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go,
and
the first place I search out when we move into a new environment, because y'all know we're cabinet, household, military, I always search out the farmers market.
Yeah. And they
always
do it. They putting it there, but guess what? I said the only reason they got that farmers market built because they putting a magistrate office in a jail.
It's crazy. It's crazy how.
And then you put it in the city. You let the city buy it, and the county is gonna lose money because you just gave your rights over to the city. Ain't that crazy?
Make it make sense. It's a whole again. These people know they figure out how to use the system so much so to their advantage that again it's like unless you have what they call a complete scorched earth scenario where you got to really turn the tables over, kick over the chairs and turn over the tables. It's status quo. It's system. It's business as usual, right? And it has a lot to say with what we're talking about, even with kind of some of the topics that we talk about here with kind of year review, but getting ready for the next year when you have this election that has so many different implications now because you literally have an income, or not income, but a old new president coming back into office. His entire agenda is based upon kicking the table over, rooting out a lot of the bad actors, which we know they're still in the midst of his own, cadre. But we're talking about baby steps and seeing how can we expose a lot of this corruption and greed, because keep in mind, America has morphed into the most hypocritical environment, institution that you ever could imagine. So much so that it's heightened now, where not only do other nations on the outside looking in are taking stock of seeing just how bad it is, because you still got people who want to come here, right? Especially that show with this latest immigration, debacle with this open border scenario. But they're coming here for what they consider to be a still revolutionary perspective of living, when they're really coming here to get a lot of scraps. Now, it may seem as if they're eating half the hog. Why? Because you do have a fringe party, which in the Democrats have shown that, where they're willing to kind of rob the American citizenry to kind of build out a new voting bloc by bringing these illegals in. But I say that because the case study is that we get to look at them doing this nefarious stuff, and you still got food deserts in your urban centers. You still have homeless veterans that are on the street. You still have, issues with the things that they try to, be so concerned about in terms of infant mortality or lack of this, lack of that. But yet you got money to throw away in your coffers to throw away. Imaginary money, mind you, because again, we know how this stuff works, right? The Federal Reserve and the Treasury on speed dial when you have a fringe party needing to kind of come up with money out of thin air to outfit their agenda, right? But they're doing it at the behest of what? The citizenry taking major L's. they can't get nothing that they need, and they've been sitting waiting for what, months and years to get money passed down through their district, and it's moving at the pace of a snail, right? The stuff that you try to explain to your family members, and it's like hitting their head and pinging off of it. It ain't really going in. They don't understand how this stuff works. They so conditioned to be, I should say, distracted, but they don't understand how the system works, right? They don't understand this is a corporation. It is a business, right? They're operating under the auspice that this is a thriving republic, like it was supposed to. It was designed to be, where you where the power was in the hand of the people. It's not that way any longer, right?
It's gone.
We've been great, compromised. And it's the NGOs, it's the foreign nationals, it's the lobbyists, the corporatization. It's what you're getting now with, again, talking about social media, fanfare and buzz. It's the Elons and the Viveks, the oligarchs going after now status quo congressional value. Why? Because they want to bring in more of their constituents, meaning the oligarchs want to bring in now their constituents to supposedly fix the problem that the congressional hardline homogenous people have yet to fix. Why? Because they're too busy trying to do these fringe policies, again, at the expense of the American citizens. So it's like, well, what you got to lose, right? But again, where are the grown-ups at the table? They're non-existent, right? So I'm all for the fireworks. Again, I got my tea, right? This is going to be an interesting next 4 years. I'm all for it. As the young folks say, I'm all for the smoke. I'm all for the BS.
Yeah, it's about to be weird.
Look, we came through COVID. We saw what that was like. We saw desperation and greed at its highest form in COVID. The greatest monetary heist in American history came on the back of COVID.
And businesses who thought they couldn't be touched got affected.
Here you go now, where they have to manufacture crisis after crisis to keep this evolving spigot, this evolutionary spigot open for everybody except the citizens.
Yep. I just told somebody that. I said we do for a problem. Y'all do know that.
Look,
right?
Again, you got people like Bill Gates going down there to kiss the ring of Trump. Make that make sense. He recently, just about a week ago, tried to get a meeting with Trump. What does Bill Gates have anything to do with Trump at this point in the game? When Trump literally blamed him for much of what you got in terms of propaganda on the backside of COVID. Make it make sense. It was obvious that he was advocating for. I mean, he was all on the TV, like he would, what is it? When that shoot night? If you don't want to produce dancing all on your video, come to Death Row. Was that not Bill Gates?
Come over here to Death Row.
Come over here to Death Row, bro. Look, that Bill Gates all day. Got no credentials whatsoever, but he's getting foremost, press coverage when it comes to these things, just because his philanthropy has him doing certain things, which we know he's been sued by multiple countries for medical malpractice in India. Remember, India still got lawsuits against him, massive lawsuits against him for messing up those people over in India. Parts of Africa. Again, we can go down the list. But these are your oligarchs, right? These are the people that average citizenry look up to as smart, intelligent people, when they're not really smart, intelligent people. They just have a lot of data at their exposure, and they know how to push it back into the face of American people who are not autodidacts, unlike us, right? And tell them or spin the narrative in a way where it makes them feel inferior. They need to listen to these so-called people. Why? Because they got money, and their money takes precedence over actual and factual data. That's the problem. So you're getting propagandized and colonized through information. Now, remember, we know that's the new frontier now. The new frontier is what? Colonization of what? Information. Again, media. What has that been like, under this new election? How they took a major L. Why? Because grassroots rose up and said, what? Not today. We'd rather take chances on something else than deal with the status quo again. You got $1.5 billion? Wasn't that what Kamala raised? She raised $1.5 billion. All that money was propaganda money.
Yeah, something like
Think about that. $1.5 billion waste of propaganda, concerts, catfish, fish fries, all kind of foolishness.
I should have threw a for. I should have threw a party.
Make it make sense, guys. Y'all
$50 a plate.
Chitlin plate, lunches and stuff. Like bruh, hey, what is this? Are y'all serious? They really think people are that slow and that dumb. But when you starved out, your voice is minimal. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a microphone. How you gonna compete against the status quo system? This is This is old world Germany all over again.
Yep.
I'm just being, look,
keep it in 100.
Bro, like, how do we get here? So again, when you see these things like this on this mountain, because I know we kind of talk about, you came in hot, Monica, you kind of got us, you got us on our square. Now you got us in our research mode. These old school days. I love you days. I love you days. Because they're important to realize these. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's the the food security, insecurity. That I mean the environmental factors, getting people to wrap their mind. When they're talking about all these issues on social media, and their solutions are bouncing off the wall because they're not addressing the actual issue. And we've been doing problem trees, AE, where we're putting the problem and then identifying what's the root, and then instead of going to the causes, we've been identifying solutions. So I think we did 3 or 4 of those, just coming up with community issues, and then just determining what are the issues, the problem, and then determining what the issues, the root causes to them, and then let's find out some solutions, and how can we come up with ways to help our situations.
I look at
even with
we understand the root,
yeah,
the root value of doing proper research, right, for a perceived outcome. When we go through our checks and balances, right, it's like, again, I always use the stock analysis for a reason. That's why I tell people it's so symbiotic more than you can imagine. The criteria that it takes to understand breaking down intricate research about a particular company or product or whatever that you're looking, or you may be hoovered to. It's the same way you need to take that same skill set and apply it across the board. It's the same value.
Hey, Chris. Chris, what was the one we looked up, Chris? What was the one we looked up, Chris, where it gave the demographics? Do you remember what site that was? Where it gave, when you was like, oh my God, what's the blue line? What's the purple line?
I think it was food something. Was the website?
Hold on, I gotta. And it showed the graph. It had the graph by.
We was at what? Yeah, because they did the ethnic groups.
Yeah, it was by ethnic. It was by ethnic groups, and it showed the lines in the graph, and it showed who was that saying, how you be the majority, and you have you the majority, and the minority has the highest percentage. Oh man, I was trying to get my desktop up to show it. I can't remember how we get to that graph, but it was
it was
USDA, I think. Oh, there it is. That's it right there, A. Right there. That picture.
Yeah, food.
Oh, it was the.
You see the image? That's not the image?
No, this is USDA. This is by food insecurity by U.S. household varies across race and ethnicity.
Yes, so scroll down.
That's good data, but that's not the website.
Okay.
We were on the BLS.
No, it was another web. You know what?
Go down. I think this might be it. I think you just have to go down.
I just put in food insecurity by ethnic groups, in the query box.
Yeah.
So you got Feed America, USDA, examine the impact of structural racism, food insecurity. Of course, these are different cited. sites. I was looking at, because I always go look for the most recent one, like for a year and
Right.
month, data in terms of
Could you show what USDA?
I could put in the year as well, like 2024, because I know a lot of this 2024 data is yet to be still compiled. It really takes about a whole quarter into the new year before they give an outlook of the previous year.
Right. It might be USDA.
But USDA definitely is, it's of course the most. It's in April of 2008. This last article was presented. So again, that's nearly, second quarter last year.
Click on the left where it says in the U.S. Click the blue link to the left. Foods in the U.S. And then
in the US.
Yeah, then it probably gonna give those charts because it's multiple charts.
I would imagine
that bar chart was one of them. Was one of those charts that it.
Yeah, right now it's just giving you data, statistical data.
Oh, so, just data. Yeah.
Interactive charts and highlights. Let's see if there's anything there. But again, I could just only imagine the well, here's a field get food insecurity, all household food insecurity by race, ethnicity, very low.
Yeah, that's it. This is the link. So it's gonna be
that's
this
it
right here. That's it, AE. And if you click the date on the bottom, let's see, because your chart is a little low than what. Yeah, we was just seeing how, black.
Last year.
That's it. I probably just had mine blown up or something. But how we at the top. We got the highest percentage.
Oh, yeah.
See how we be the minority.
That's across the board. That's
yes.
I already know. It goes without saying, sad to even look at it from that perspective, but we know what we're dealing with.
Yes.
In terms of our plight, again, we don't make, I don't, again, I'm of the mindset where you see a lot of people who always try to water down the race issue when it comes to the diversity measurements in terms of how we allocate money into underfunded environments, inequality. We know it's there. As investors and traders, we definitely see that that margin, as we like to call it, the spread, it's insurmountable. It seems like without them doing something drastic to change the status quo, where they may tell you, okay, well, the average Black household income range between 35 to 40,000, and the average white income range between 70, 80,000 to 100,000 plus. That's a massive gap in terms of when we talk about things that are eroding factors on people's cost of living daily agendas, right? In terms of when you have inflationary environments and moments, you are stretched thin. You still got to count in the cost of living that goes up every year, regardless of the inflationary shocks in your system.
Regardless of the wages.
No, right? It's endless, right? Insurance prices premiums going up every year. Ain't nobody doing no reductions. Y'all notice that, right? Once the cat's out the bag, they don't put the cat back in the bag. The only thing that you get a little help meet on is energy, but it takes someone coming in and saying, we just gonna bring in a lot of bring in a lot of drilling or something. That's the only thing that really fluxes. But everything else stays at its current level or goes up, or you get less product for equal amount of money.
Well, and that's why the port workers were able to do those protests, because they had put out that wage bill for increases in June and January 1st. And when they lost the election, they was like, hell no, we're not giving no raises in January. Y'all can take it to the courts, you can do whatever, because that jump to get those wages up to 2024 was like a 63%. So some of them just settled for that 32, 37% jump, because it was in between the policy time frame. But most companies didn't even pay attention or didn't even care that they've even passed the bill to get wages up to 2024 inflation. And the states and the Fed, the federal is always up, but the states was like, I'm not doing that. And the Supreme Court in Texas, they shut it down. They was like, y'all might as well go cancel that. We're not doing that. And what did California say? We're not paying no overtime. I don't care what y'all say. And my company, we actually said I was against it, but hey, I got outnumbered. They was like, hey, go back and check all your schedules. Nobody gets overtime. We will hire more people and put them part-time. I was like, y'all so shady.
System. It's the system. You know, it's designed to do what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
And again, I go down and it kind of, you know, this is a good sidebar conversation to what a lot of the topics that I have put down there for that reason, because again, you're at the top of the year, you're going into the system, into a new year with a whole old familiar system status quo, with a lot of optimism or opportunity of shaking up, you know, the deep state and all the kind of stuff like that people like to talk about, but you know, really turn over the table to figure out how can you kind of reshore a lot of that taxpayers' money back into their hands, right? Opportunity through industries, a lot of opportunity through, again, putting the power back into the states of a lot of these, you know, these people who want to do the will of the people, supposedly, right? And now how you plan for that financially? What does that look like financially? How you plan for that, right? Now, of course, as market participants, we see things through a different set of glasses or spectacles, right? Than as, you know, the average citizen who's out there, you know, who got to put, you know, elbows and knees to work, right? And backs to work to try to, you know, keep up with what, you know, the system is laid out before them, right? They saw so much of the benefits of paying into the tax system not work for them, where a lot of people have become discouraged, right? They're deflated. Like, what am I doing this if I'm seeing this happen? I'm seeing my money go out the back door for this. I'm seeing I didn't vote for this. Who's giving these people the ultimate authority to make these executive decisions with my tax dollar? And so tempers are at an all-time high. People are rightfully so, they're pissed off, rightfully so, right? The system is not working. It was not designed to really work for people, but even more so now, it's even that much more revealing. Why? Because the internet is undefeated. The internet is undefeated, meaning we figured out now how to do real hardline investigative journalism in a way where the benefit of doing that helps curb a lot of the pain that we get from, again, bad governance, right? Bad, you know, agency through local, state, municipality, up until federal. So again, it's not even up for debate at this point where we know that this is a sick nation, not in terms of physical, but economically, the whole nine, right? More ethically, et cetera, right? Again, people priorities, meaning governance priorities, are not, you know, aligned with the citizenry or the people. So again, when we see scenarios like again, this whole idea with the terrorist attack, right? I'm calling it terrorist attack, the Cybertruck issue, the New Orleans, right? The whole issue in New Orleans, right? You couldn't make this stuff up, right? Right? The idea that let's see here, again, like people are doing things like these are moments where people are taking advantage of, again, the system, right? These soft targets and things of that nature, right? Well, again,
what's going on at the port in New Orleans?
Say again?
What's going on at the port in New Orleans?
I mean, again, like that in itself, now, you know, the death totals are going up now. It was 10 earlier. Now that the 15 people died from that, you know, from the guy that drove the truck through the people doing the New Year's Eve thing, right? The New Year's thing, right? Crazy. So again, I don't know if you guys did the backstory on the gentleman that did it, that orchestrated it.
Yeah, he rented a truck from Harris County, from Houston.
Look at that. See, it hit different when it right around the backyard, right?
Yeah.
And he was what? Regular armor. He was an armor reserve.
Crazy.
Guy. So he was in the military. He has training. He was riding around with an ISIS flag in the truck.
That's it. Somebody asked, I said,
so from the 30,000 feet looking down, again, that's how we should always look at things.
Yep.
This was a sleeper cell. He either became radicalized once he was here, or he was already radicalized before he, you know, was able to get into the institution to learn a lot of skills to pull out something like this. It's one of the two, right? So again, it's a lot of that stuff is kind of overlooked because people dare to think, outside of headline news, kind of feeding them a narrative. When I look at that stuff like this and I say, you know what? Again, cause and effect, right? As I like to say, as we like to kind of live by that mantra, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of flesh, right? On the back end, meaning if you don't do the proper preventive maintenance up front, you are subject to what's the blowback or what that looks like on the back end if it ever comes back to hunt you. So again, over 15 million people came into the country illegally. You mean to tell me they vetted every last person came through?
Oh no. Not that way.
Wide open border, wide open. All kind of they talk about the drugs because the drugs affect really a lot of communities that y'all know what I'm talking about. But they wanted to focus on the fentanyl. It's more than that. You let in terrorists, you let in all kinds of stuff, and they already got the data that says that, right? Because remember the new act in Homeland Security guys coming in, we're getting ready to come in. They already exposed that. Yeah, they all kind of sleeper cells came through. Okay,
they
make it make sense. Like, why would you? Like, this is it's like, okay, it's self-fulfilling at this point. It's like this is purposeful. It's almost purposeful.
Oh yeah.
I won't say it because this might just be the beginning of many other scenarios to come. We knock on wood, hope it does not happen. But how could you not have that thought that
things like this only happens near ports, Federal Reserve banks, military installations, those things. I was looking and see they about to do an international terminal down there in New Orleans. $1.18 billion terminal. They just transitioned over Port Authority CEO. I said, is something going on at the Port of New Orleans that we ain't paying attention to? Because it's either a distraction, how it go.
A lot of times a distraction, and again, we find out later on what the motives are. And I mean, you look at this guy. You the picture of the guy. You see him right here on the TV on my screen here. Cut this out. I mean, he looked like he could pass for a brother. A whole brother. You mean like a whole homogenous black man? You know what I'm saying? Now his name is Shamsud-Din Jabbar. You hear a name like that, the first thing you say, "Oh, this is this sound Arabic." Look at this guy. He could pass for a brother.
Test the timing and the response time. We ain't seen one like that in a long time. Test and response time.
He could pass for a black man. And if you didn't know any better, again, if your eyes, just glancing, because this the whole narrative with this whole, unfortunate, the whole race issue too. That's a whole nother conversation because it's like it's like people are trading war stories to figure out, whose side worse than the other, which is goofy in itself because again, they don't understand that, death don't care about color or it doesn't stop. You don't stop bleeding on a gurney just because you're a certain race, right? If you got on the short end of the stick, you're gonna bleed out. You're gonna bleed out.
If you go the other side, they come and you gonna get it too.
It's crazy. So we're so the society's become so petty that again the desensitized value of how we even value and view things now is like, bro, it's like you become so cold to it. I hate to use the word callous, but you become like, okay, it's just another another scenario, another day in Wonderland. What's next?
When last time we had a veteran do something of that caliber? I think it was in Texas.
Hood?
When Texas, the major.
Yeah, clean down.
Yep.
Very clean.
The major came. It was that, and it was the ship. It was the ship on the East Coast. Then it was the major, and then there we go. We was at it.
Could make this stuff up.
That's pretty much
Right?
that's how it goes.
So senior official told ABC that the authorities currently believe Jabbar was radicalized in the last few years. See, there it is. I just clicked on this. I don't know nothing about this story, but we kind of know the MO. Once you've been down range enough, you know what's going on.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have to be 80 years in the military to understand how this basic stuff works. And that radicalization may have been exacerbated by the Israel-Hamas war.
Mm-hmm.
You see what's going on there? This is him getting a lick back for Israel laying waste to Gaza. In his mind.
Yep. You know how they think.
He came here, he got skill set. Okay, y'all just gonna get up easy with the green light to just commit, quote unquote genocide. Okay, this is my lick back.
And that's like a New Orleans. I said Louisiana. That's a least likely area.
It was a soft target moment. Think about it. New Year's, people drunk, flooded, congested environment. Again,
now you know what's coming.
He rented the truck out of Houston.
You know what's coming up, right? Super Bowl Mardi Gras is at the same time this year. And you know what those crowds are like.
And we know what the security finna look like now for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Boy, they're gonna have top flight security out there. Craig, by the German Shepherd, pit bulls, all that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to put the barriers up. Normally it's wide open. They're gonna have to put barriers up.
It only take one incident. Now you got to triple down on security, and now everybody's got to feel that that squeeze because
they got 30 days to figure it out. That's for sure.
Logistics through the roof.
Yep.
So again, this is kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about the ideal of how we become so we're just. I say we, but again, I'm saying that loosely, but again, the society as a whole, the social media starved environment that we're in right now, it's like everybody's who's disconnected from purpose are just radicalized now. Like they're clout chasing everything. Everything's getting press coverage. That some stuff probably don't need to deserve it, but again, it's a hyper-vigilant society where everybody's looking for something. I don't know the end goal of all this, but I know, again, going into a new calendar year, because I like to say calendar year, it's not new year to me. Again, y'all know that's where I get my hat done at. It's a new calendar year. People all excited about new year, new me, the same old every year, right? I'm like, that's not how life works. Especially when you get above a certain age, it's always preventive maintenance, day in and day out. It's another day, right? You don't get to a certain point to say, I need to kind of, not do something drastic, as if you wasn't doing nothing previous, to this so-called day. So, but I'll use it as a talking point. I use it as a benchmark to say, well, guess what? Here's more of a reason why we need to double down on, again, preparing ourselves to make better fiduciary responsibility decisions, right? To be good stewards of opportunity, to be good stewards of, again, financial literacy in a way where, again, you got to pay these skills forward. Because, again, it is definitely a perpetual hamster wheel of classism becoming the new racism.
Yeah.
Those who have and those who have not.
Ooh, you said something right there.
It's just undeniable truth. Where are we going? The oligarchs are look, they're telling you, we just saw with the election, the oligarchs spoke. They revealed their hand. Who knew all the people been doing that stuff all throughout these presidential elections, going way back to Bush? These oligarchs and celebrities behind the scene dumping big swaths of money into the system to get what they want out of it. This time they just said, we got to reveal our hand. The George Clooney's. Do I need to go down the list?
We know.
They gave this woman $1.5 billion. for what? Twerking and entertainment politics. And we say, well, okay, let's strip away all the fat. Where's the meat? What's the policies? Well, guess what? America's waking up. They say, well, what are the policies? Oh, same as the status quo? Oh, okay. Sprinkling in with a little hyper-vigilant, hot button topics like abortion, and we may try to fix the border now. Like, y'all still in office. You can't fix it. You still got on the payroll right now. You still can fix it, right? You got to wait. You got to threaten people that you can't fix it unless you put me back in office again. Now that you just this is the mindset. The mindset of having to deal with what people dealt with over the past 3.5 years, near 4 years of inflation and watching all this money get printed and dumped into really what? Stock market. The stimulus checks is a thing of the past. It's a great soundbite now. Oh, the stimulus checks. Look. Them days over with. Meaning you need to have been planning for today, right? All that was just in preparation for what's coming tomorrow, right? As the saying goes, past performance should be a predictor for what? Future potentiality or future profitability? Tongue twister.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a fancy way of saying a PMCS check. Again, I go back, I use the military terms for a reason. Preventive maintenance checks and services. If you're failing to do that day for day, then what's the use of it? I mean, if you're doing it right anyway, it's no need to do a New Year's resolution. That seems antithetical to your due diligence and discipline. You already living it, right? You're living it. It's just another day. Okay. Drink a little, little favorite little drink, kick back and just, whatever. Right? So again, I'm just saying it to say this now, even more so, we're at the top of the calendar year. That's why I keep making that reference, right? We're at the top of the calendar year. This is a good time to really reinforce those skills that you've already garnered and put them into practice, even though you might have done a little bit of it last year, even crank it up again and again. I'm getting ready to get off in a second because I got, some stuff to take care of. But I'm going to say this here. I'm old school. I like to bring back some of the old school stuff. I'm all for the $5 challenge again. Every year we should be doing that $5 a day challenge. Every year we should look to kick in that $5 a day challenge. If you can't do 5, do 1, $1. If you do $1 a day, that's $365 at the end of the year in escrow. That could pay a bill. That could do something. That can do something. If you attach it to a financial vehicle, a money interest accruing vehicle, financial vehicle, guess what? Now you got some what?
Cash producing assets.
Dividend tax on that.
Get it. Interest or something.
Make it make sense. So again, the only way you're gonna isolate and shield yourself from this kind of stuff you see on the screen right here, right? All this, that's coming, because it's coming. Again, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news for nobody, but we know this kind of stuff. Look, it's just the beginning.
It's definitely coming.
Look, they already been trying to sabotage the opportunity of this coming back into what? Into purview, meaning, a different cadre. The people who spent the last 3-4 years thinking they did a great job, they took a massive L. The people said, we ain't rocking with that. Good, bad, and different. We're not rocking with that. And a landslide statement at that. Every House, Senate, Senate, the whole 9, a whole suite. What does that say to me? I'm gonna look at this thing from a financial lens. They want a different
opportunity.
They want different opportunities, potentially, where they want to receive more of the dividends of what? Their labor, their sacrifice right? Their value system, they want a different dividend system.
Yeah, now
But
that's
the last one has not been yielding that much.
that's going to be that's going to be an interesting process. And if you don't know how to make it, if you don't know how to, in my opinion, if you don't know how to make money, as you all have said since we've been on the live, and trying to teach people how to leverage the market, to put money in their pocket, or to explore different investment opportunities, then or self-sufficiency type home-based business, passive income type opportunities, you might be moving back in with your mama or your daddy or your parents or your kids.
I'm bringing back them old equations. I'm gonna keep reiterating them. Time over money.
Time over money. Because if you don't, if I don't see people reducing rent,
I know we've been benefiting from it. All that rental property.
Yes. Hey, I can imagine.
Hey.
I don't see nobody giving back or reducing, and you're gonna be priced out of affordable housing
and refinance dang near at 0 interest rate in terms of prime sitting at 1 or 2 on prime and how that works. Look, who's finna get out of that to go to pay 6-7% for an extra square footage here or a different side of the house here or a different? Ain't nobody been do that.
Ain't nobody do that. So it's gonna be real interesting. You know, it's kind of got to balance the beam. I see. You haven't learned, you better take some time to learn learn how to, you know, make money over time. I've been doing my I've been increasing my money, putting some away. I even was putting some away for my niece and nephew that I didn't even know, for my niece that I didn't even know that I was doing. I just so happened to say, let me open up this app. So
set it in and forget it.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. You know, trying to get people to get those custodial accounts. I love the GoHenry with the financial literacy for the kids, instead of just giving them the money in their hand, letting them take the classes. So, I mean, there are ways. I said the adults need to take them too, because if you keep preaching you don't know financial literacy, you never learned it in school, you wish somebody would teach you, just get you the GoHenry app and you go through the scenarios.
You gotta start, and I say the thing because again, I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir, in essence to, you know, how we, you know, come at this thing, right? For us, it's like, okay, this is business as usual, right? This is business as usual, but it's positive reinforcement, right? It's, hey, you know, we're doing this because, you know, we eat this, live this, breathe this, you know, it's all that, right? All that and then some, right? It's relevant because, hold up, let me, this thing, I'll leave it on here for now. Hold up, why is it? Let me. And we'll come back and have more in-depth conversation on this because y'all know we're gonna crack this stuff open, because again, I plan on, like I told you in the beginning of the year, we're gonna kind of crack this thing open a little bit here and get really, you know, really get after it. But it's you know, it's one of those self-fulfilling prophecies. Again, why I say that, because we're at the point where this information, in terms of, and before you came on, Monica, I'm prefacing this perspective. When I was saying that, you know, when we really was going hard body around 2016, 2017, that was an interesting crucible moment. Even though it was already in the works through the Urban Economic Empowerment Show, you guys been cooking. But I'm saying that because at that pinnacle moment, you had assets like Bitcoin, you know, that whole year, if you go back 2017, 2016, we're talking about coming into second quarter 2017, it was sitting at around about $1,100 or $1,900 a token. And here it is, 2017 to 2024, right? We're talking about what? How many years is that? 7 years? Lucky 7, right? As some would call it. You know, it went from, you know, basically a whole, dang near 1,000% at 100,000. Like, make it make sense. When people come to you and say, man, they don't understand the slow, methodical way, right? This ain't the get rich quick. This is you have to preventive maintenance checks and services, your perspective every day. So you don't have to make these drastic, declarations or attestations to the world that this is your year to do it, as if you hadn't been planning for the previous year. We know things happen and throw people off their square a little bit, but that's not a moment where you should ever relinquish your discipline. And that goes for myself, and anything that I'm talking about, I'm living it, or I'm working towards that every single day, because I see the importance of it. We got a track record of data behind us in terms of everything we put out, profess, we speak about, and now we see all the yields from it. We see the dividends from it, right? We've reaped the benefit from a lot of it. It's like, why would you not, see the importance of, wanting to insulate yourself and shield yourself from, again, the stuff that's out there that's constantly biting at you to take you away from, from basically off your square. Again, because Monica came in, these theories like this in terms of inequity and poverty and food. It's crazy that this is the most wasteful country on the planet by proxy of a lot of stolen wealth. We call it what it is. We straight shooters over here. We're not going to sugarcoat it. It's crazy. You got all this stolen wealth. Everybody's forced to pay taxes, but no one really reaping the true benefits of it. Again, remember we used to make the analogy, some people just happy they get to go to McDonald's at 2 a.m. in the morning, as if that's a flex. Right? To get a greasy little, McBoo burger or something, no shots fired, but make it make sense. Like, how do we get here? Where people are finding value in inconsequential type of things. Again, as the saying goes, keep your nose down and your blinders on, stay focused. Your goal should be endless growth opportunities afforded to you. Least path of resistance, right? Least path of resistance. Again, using that kind of old adage, right? Let's look at this from a downrange perspective, right? Let's go to a monthly chart on the SPY. Let's just use a monthly chart. Look at this thing. It's vertical. It's vertical. A monthly chart is vertical, dang near, right? Let's go back and do a little time capsule here. Since we're at the beginning of the so-called new year. So-called new year. Oddly so, my linear regression band starts right around 2017 mark, right? And around this area here. Couldn't make this stuff up. Look what's happened to the market since then. $200 in terms of the ETF, the SPY, up to now basically near 600. What is that? What's that like? What? 200% dang there? Ain't it about 200% in 7 years? If my what they call my speedboat math is correct, that's about 200%, ain't it? From 200 to 600.
2 years.
Think about that. So all you had to do is nose down, steady plow. Any little extra cash you get that you can't, you ain't worry about missing, dump it into interest accruing asset. Build that discipline up and just let it rock. Benchmark averages show you that any value in terms of a per annum basis, base case ETF like a SPY yield you about 7-8%. This is how you build quote unquote resistance from the system. Notice I said resistance from the system, meaning where they can't affect you, like the oligarchs and the celebrities. That's why their agenda is totally different than ours. But some people are so starstruck, they don't see that this is a finesse. They just get behind because some local rapper or some celebrity TV person told them, no, you need to be focusing on this. These people are dictating this. Again, we're at the start of the new calendar year. This is your discipline. Meaning anything that is where you're in control much as possible of the opportunity, that's what you need to focus on. Stock market is just one aspect of it. I'm speaking to the entrepreneur in everyone, basically, at this point. Entrepreneurship, business ownership, figuring out a way to get it out the mud, if one would call, use that saying. But more importantly, find out how to, put your money to work for you so you don't have to work, as hard physically for it. That's how you defeat the system in so many ways. You won't be able to conquer it, but you can defeat it in a lot of ways. So when inflation rises up, look, you insulate to a degree. At least you got liquid assets that you can liquidate. This is why this information is important. This is why it's non-negotiable. We are an investment prowess type of what? Content. Yeah, we can talk about all this stuff too. That's why, we talk about those things. Okay, there are conversations in past, and there's something to smile and chuckle about or be aware about or behoove to. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we know how to put blinders on and still go back to what? Following the money. This is what you call following the money. 7-year review. Old urban economic empowerment, sessions going hard in the business. Going hard in the paint. Sister Monica, you and Sister Cheryl going hard. Over Chris coming in, everybody coming in through the side door, back door. Now you guys again have taken it a whole nother level. Over Chris, going after what? You're going after your Series 6 license, right? Over Chris? It's a 6 or 6.5. Which one you going after, Over Chris? I think it's one he's going after what? The Series 6 or 6.5. You might be busy at the moment, but again, that's the end result of all that hard work. That brother putting good use to all that data. When we used to have them conversations, we used to do them data dumps, like this was the data dump day, we just dumped all kind of data on people's plate, say, here's a lot of data. Sort it out, deal with it. Eat from it. Learn from it.
Yeah, I think he just passed a test for Series 7. I think he's going after 6.
7, okay.
Well, he just passed a test for 1. He got 2 more.
Yeah, I saw the
now.
I saw the one, sir. Yep. That's the end result of all this hard work.
Yep.
To be in a position where you can give financial license advice or to be an accredited, investor where you can go after those OPO seed round investments, that Reg A scenarios that common Americans don't get, just to have the opportunity to open up this avenue to a whole new different category of money. It's like Sister Monica sitting there on the Urban Income Empowerment Show on a Wednesday preaching you guys the importance of a NAS code, of a Dun & Bradstreet number. What that does to your terms is give you the ability, after you get an LLC or somewhere, you can go public if you choose and get access to investor dollars if you got something good enough to do so. It's all that hard work. It's the end result of, again, solid environments of people who always stand on their square and they're consistent in what they do.
You better know it.
The only thing that changes is the data. That's
Data.
obviously always evolving. That's it.
That is so true.
Just a new data set to deal with, or a new form of technology. The ease of that becomes better now. Open AI.
Follow the money and follow the need.
That's it. Use case. That's a t-shirt. That's why people walk around with t-shirt. Use case. They're like, what does that mean? They don't have no idea what you're talking about. Those who initiate it gonna know instantly what that mean when they see that. Oh, you walk around with a t-shirt that has use case on it. Uh-oh, that person about their life. That's what it's all about. So I'm excited. Again, top of the calendar year. Again, my new year starts in March, right? But nonetheless, I'll play along. Top of the year, guys. Calendar year.
Top of the year.
Let's make those same old school relevant topics, relevant. They always been there, but I'm just saying, just kind of revisiting those talking points in a way where you realize the importance of being disciplined, putting away those $2-3. If you can do $5 a day, get that shoebox, throw it in there. Or even better, attach it to your fintech account, and every time you spend money,
yes,
stop backs from it.
earn while you shop.
Man, look, what does that look like at the end of the year?
Yes, rewards.
You couldn't make this stuff up how wonderful it is. So that's the discipline, guys. And we're gonna definitely get back in that square, on that square in a way where, again, we're using it as an evangelical moment to kind of put it back out in the airway, because there's a lot of people out there doing it at a point when it wasn't a lot back in the day when we first kind of really getting after this stuff like that. And that's fine. Evolution, it kicked in. COVID obviously hyperscaled it. Again, everybody was home. Everybody wanted to learn how to get money, because all people get money was what? Investors and traders. So they were like, man, teach me how to dug it, bro. Teach me how to get it. And now, again, it opened up a whole new different way. Energy out there where people started, it opened up a lot of people's eyes, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That drum constantly needs to be beaten, because there's still a lot of people out there who are still timid, afraid, don't understand how this stuff works. They're dependent on the system and the status quo to tell them what they need to do when they need to be figuring out how they're going to do it themselves. And that's why what you guys do it's invaluable. It's invaluable. If you are owner operator, meaning if you own one share of a stock, you're owner operator of opportunity at that point.
Ooh, get the tax write-offs.
Think about it. It's that simple.
It's tax season. You got to talk to them.
Right? This stuff is like, so again, I'm just using it as a way to benchmark the top of the calendar year. Again, we're going to be at this as you guys always be doing. Again, Monica don't take days off. Again, I bow down at this woman foot. Over Chris, you guys been getting it, man. I'm bowing down to you guys. Over Brandon, you guys been constantly at it. Again, I took my little time off for personal reasons. Of course, a lot of things going on inside, my circle of, love, influence, had to take care of it. But again, the work is still there. The body work is always out there. The countless videos, the live streams, the selflessness of information that could be, again, back tested from here to high noon, it's going to end up being the same result. Due diligence and discipline. We got nothing to sell. We got everything to offer in terms of opportunity, meaning it's just information and data. That's all it is, information and data. How you use the system at your benefit. The same thing we complain about when you see, billionaires skip out on, massive tax bills. Yep. And we're like, well, how is that possible? This guy, that's a $20 billion tax bill the person skipped on. The loopholes are there. We call them loopholes, but it's just business as usual. It ain't really a loophole.
It sure is. Business as usual.
Tax codes. It's tax codes.
Real quick before you get out of here, we just won the contract at the VA in Baltimore. So if you know anyone who may not have a job or interested, we need drivers, and I'm looking for a supervisor. Someone to manage
in that region?
Or it's at the VA in Baltimore.
It's in the VA in Baltimore. I got you. Matter of fact, I met a sister the other day at the hair salon. I get my hair done. This lady I've been going for years. I met a sister who's the actual rater at the VA benefits office. She's the one that signs off on you getting the bread, Monica. I said, I gotta turn you on to my sister.
Yes, for real.
I'm gonna connect you to her. I told her about you, and she was talking to me and the IRBA, but the IRBA,
yes,
get a whole 100%.
Yes. It's by her time. It's by her time.
Documenting before that, that time come, And she was like, because she got on me because I never filed. All my buddies that went down range with me, most of all of them just filed. One of them, he hold 100%. And I was way more busy than him. But you sister. He in Shreveport, Louisiana, eating good right now.
Hey, right? It ain't never too late.
And she was like, well, you ain't did nothing?
Nothing.
You ain't filed for nothing? You ain't got this ain't hurt, this ain't, what you doing? She got on me good fashion too. She woke me out. She told me out, Sister Monica. I said, you know what? You right. But I said, you know what? I had that mentality of getting it out the mud, and I didn't care about all that. I just made sure I stayed current. That way they have me on file for the VA. And I left it at that. And I went out there and charted my own way. Yeah,
Should
that's smart. I get it,
have
but
told her
guess
that
what?
you was the king of Wall Street, over AE.
Huh?
Should have told her that you was king of Wall Street.
Man, I'm trying to be a fly on the wall. That's all.
Uh,
I've been
all
trying to be
this
a
time,
fly
I
on the
thought
wall
you-
to get some of this, this live.
I ain't
Nigga,
never asked because I thought you was already is. I was like, he got to be. I ain't no need me asking or whatever. Shoot. Yeah, we
look.
need to connect, and we definitely, yeah, because we
I'm
gonna
gonna connect you to her. She's solid. She signs off on the
Yeah,
benefit.
one
But
of
it
the
ain't like
only-
this. She ain't no admin reception. She signs off. So
Yeah.
she up there. And that sister, like, she looking for everybody that look like,
Yes.
and she's saying, look, I'm finna give you the game. This is what it is.
Yeah, I need to talk to her. I need game on
And
one
she
little
say,
issue.
this just came out.
Yes.
It just came out. So you can file for this now. Everything new, I get it. I'm gonna pass it down the range. That's how she thinks.
Yes. I'll be up
They
that
say-
way in the February, early March.
She in this area too, so you're not, you can always connect with her online, but I'm gonna connect you to her. Anybody, that got prior service, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The ratio is that you have to do at least 85% of your time, your initial sign-up time, that qualifies you. So
I'm trying to
no
get
matter
up.
what it is, you done 85% of your initial commitment to the military, you are qualified for benefits.
That's what's up.
And the ideal of getting any kind of claims, anything, a headache. So that you got a headache, didn't you? Didn't you have a headache? At least a headache? I like, yeah, I had plenty of them. I had a whole lot of Motrin when I got out. I gave all up to my parents, but they thought they hit the lot of all them pills I brought home. I was like, man, she's like, yeah, you've been missing out. You could have had your extra $2,000-$3,000 every month just because. She wore me out that day too. I was like, man, I couldn't say nothing. I said, must I be talking about, opportunity and finding ways, to get, from the system that has taken away from me for so long. But I just one frontier, I just never explode for that reason. But beyond that, I say it because there's always people out there that you're going to come across your path with. Once you begin to speak from a place of, this is what you're about, people hear that, they're like, okay, this person here dialed in. How can I add value to even what they already got or already know? That's the greatness about what we do too. Because our casual conversations turn into a whole networking session. Tangible ones though, not so much as just theoretical, man, it'd be great to do this and do a print. No, we get up there and hit that buy or sell button, or we got opportunity at our fingertips. Literally. Oh, I need an extra $200-$300 today. Let me catch a vol today. I got it. No worries. Go get this right at the market real quick. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. It's that kind of reality. And I know, like y'all know me, I'm solid about it. Yeah, I've been putting them left, right hooks all across the market back. Especially last couple weeks with the volatility, I've been tearing them up. So I'm just saying, guys, we're here with the top of the calendar year. Let's make this a great calendar year of constant gain. Again, we don't regress, we progress. We know what it is. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but guess what? It's good to get in your little circles, and we have our own little, what they call the revival at the church. When they had a revival at the church, we have a revival. That's all it is. Old school revival session, right? And we know what it is. So again, I look forward to many more conversations like this, guys. We're gonna open this thing back up to y'all. Y'all already been doing it. I know I'm preaching to the choir, and you guys been the soldiers day one, regardless. You guys been putting out content constantly. So again, I'm just playing catch up for my part, but nonetheless, I know I speak, in unison with you guys on Ubuntu in terms of the messaging. It's the same. It's just new data that we get, at our fingertips or at our purview. So again, I'm excited for it, guys. So I look forward to again getting back into those sessions. The other session y'all did the other day, I was passing by, I saw y'all live with the sister speaking about the serious licenses. I said, man, see, that's what I'm talking about. So again, salute you again, over Chris. I know you kind of you're moving around a little bit, so I just want to give your flowers early in advance, man, because again, it's you're a walking bottom of all that work. You know what I'm saying? That fruit of your persistence is definitely paying off. That's what it is for you, Oprah Brandon. It is for you, Oprah Monica. It's constant. guys, y'all know what it is.
Appreciate it.
Y'all know what it is. Y'all in these circles for a reason. You
So-
know, so
We were talking about it last night. Remember Mo, Brandon? They gone.
no, they
Anyway,
still, just, you know, probably business moving.
No,
around.
I'm here.
yeah, I'm just saying, man. Hey, everybody in our group, they not stagnant. We not stagnant.
Facts.
Everybody took that information and made some shape.
It's a piecemeal mentality. People act like you got to, build Rome in a day. No, you don't.
Right.
It's block by block, pebble by pebble. I even go further than that. It's sand grain by sand grain. It don't have to be, you ain't got to come in with a whole infrastructure right out the gate. It'd be great if you could, but you don't need it. Why? Because you gain more awareness when you do it sand pebble by sand pebble. You know all the small little, scenarios in and out. So again, I'm a steward of that mentality. I believe in that value or the theory value within that. You got to know what you're dealing with. So it's okay to take that long route. Don't always look for that shortcut. Take that long route. That way you get better observation. And so again, in closing, we're talking about 2017 to 2024, that 7-year window. We're talking about over 200% in the SP 500 alone. $5 a day. Put it in a fancy vehicle or a shoebox, eat that escrow at the end of the year, put it into a bigger investment, flip it, pay some bills off, get used to having discipline saving mindset. So I'm just going to put it out there like I always do. I implore you guys, it's the top of the calendar year, start your year off right, do that $5 a day challenge, do $1 a day, doesn't matter. If you got a spouse, both of y'all match each other. Put it in a shoebox where y'all can see it, or put it into a financial vehicle or a joint custody account and just see the interest attached to it. Monitor that and see what that looks like in the year. You're going to thank yourself later.
Yep. I am because we are, man.
So I'm excited for it again. So y'all gonna see more of me. Again, I'm coming out. We got a lot of things in the way where I can feel comfortable. I've been saying that off and on periodically over the few months, but again, it's definitely in a position now where we can breathe a little here.
Okay. Yeah, it's time to make that trip though. I'm gonna come visit you, man.
Man, come. And I just noticed recently, Steve or Monica, that old David had moved back in the area. He, in West Side Carolina, came back up and doing his thing in the gym. So again, but even beyond that, if y'all guys ever think about coming to this area here, anything in the DMV area, look, we good. We good money. I don't care if you go to Maryland, anywhere, Virginia, any part of the DMV, y'all hit me up.
All right.
Because it ain't nothing but half taking gas, really. You know what I'm saying? Come through, and so I look forward to it, man. So again, like always, if y'all, always keep doing what y'all already doing, but if you got other things that you might want to bring, and y'all know how to find me, hit me up. But I'm gonna definitely look forward to getting back in here, getting these charts cracking again. Again, we got years and years of data points at our hand. Again, you guys already know what's going on. You only get better with time. Y'all know this stuff goes time over money. Again, I keep going back to that for a reason. The greatest mathematical equation ever is time over money. I live by that reality. And I know what that looks like. Why? Because the more you sacrifice, the better this equation will work in your favor. Once you figure out how to direct your time and direct your what? Your money.
Right.
You can't have one without the other. It's reciprocal, right? It's self-fulfilling. I should say it that way. That's the best way to put it. It's self-fulfilling.
Right.
The time management, better output of money. You have better money, you have more time to work with. See, look, y'all get it. I'll leave it at that. So again, in closing, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Again, with the top of the year, make good decisions. Let's kind of, again, I'm gonna take a sling from my good brother Seti, right? Sunrise Super Seti, arm yourself with knowledge, bang on this market beast daily, right? Right. Liberation through financial literacy education. Right. Y'all know what it is. In a well-organized lie, defeat a disorganized truth.
Every time. Oh, we
no unk in there. Right? That's it, guys. So in closing, you guys get the last words over Chris, over Brandon, over Monica, in the last words.
You said it all, man. Peace, power, and profit to everybody.
Peace, everybody. Peace.
Peace to the family. Peace to everybody. Peace to the chat. Savin FX, I see you in the building. Right? You said I'm on Baltimore. We gotta hook up, man. I see Brother Savin, that's Savin, you in the Baltimore area. Yeah, we gotta link up. Brother Big Boom in the building, I see you. All right, you got the Snot Ball in the building, of course, Brother Mathis. Brother Iori in the building. Right? Anybody might be passed through Brother Ramirez 7 Heaven. He had a birthday recently. I just saw him on Instagram. So happy birthday to you, bro. Anybody that might have just been listening, passing, walking through, folks know this was an impromptu live, like always, lately with me. But we'll get better at planning this stuff out. So if you guys do have time, want to come through, it's business as usual. Y'all know how we get down. It's data, right? We live for the data. In terms of figuring out how we can translate that into a bag, right? Big bag, small bag, don't matter to me. As long as you got increase, that's a win.
Absolutely.
Right, that's a win. So I'm all for it. All right, so that's it, guys. So look forward to seeing you guys again. Look forward to speaking with you guys here shortly. Kicking off again the next administration, what that's going to look like for the markets. Everybody kind of figuring like they finna have a whole beat down, knockout, drag out fight because all the good money been blown into the market already. Now Trump may have to play clean up. Nonetheless, it's opportunity out there one way or the other. If they're gonna drop it, we're gonna short it.
Right.
Right? If they're gonna pump it, they're gonna be right there still getting it. And nonetheless, if they do drop it, that's just better dollar cost averaging. We all for it. I think we all for the quicks and giggle. I'll use that word.
Talk
Quick
that
and giggle.
talk,
I know what I mean.
Yeah.
We all for it.
Absolutely.
All right. That's it, guys. So thank y'all for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, share the video, get people excited about this information, guys. And we're gonna get at it. And I look forward to talking to you guys here shortly.
All right. Oh, but peace, power, and profit.
Peace, power, and profit,
peace.
everybody. Peace, guys. See
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final edition of What Are Your Thoughts of 2024. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming to the live. Love to see you here. I want to tell you about our sponsor and then get right down to business because, man, are we covering a lot of ground today. Public, if you're serious about investing, you need to know about public.com. That's where you can invest in everything. Stocks, options, bonds, crypto. You can even earn some of the highest yields in the industry, like the 6% or higher yield you can lock in with a bond account.
Public is a FINRA registered, SIPC insured platform that takes your investments as seriously as you do. Fund your account in 5 minutes or less at public.com/whatayyourthoughts, WAYT to be exact, and get up to $10,000 when you transfer your old portfolio. That's public.com/WAYT.
Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in podcast description. Okay, guys, let's start off with a special announcement. We are coming to Naples, Florida. We're going to do a live edition of the Compound and Friends. It's Michael.
What is the meaning of this?
It's Macro Inferno. It's Michael. It's me. Michael is, I think that's Robin Gibb. I'm not sure who's who in this. I know I'm Barry, of
Nice
course.
bulge.
You like the bulge, right?
What is this? Literally, I don't know. This before my time?
Yes.
Clearly.
Macro Inferno stars myself, Michael Batnick, and our extremely very special guest, Mr. Brian Belsky. You can come. You can hang with us. We're going to do a cocktail hour. We're going to do a live taping. I won't have any cocktails before the show. And then drinks and mingling after. So if you are a fan of the show and you're in Western Florida or you're in East Coast Florida and you want to make the drive across Alligator Alley, come see us at the Alamo Draft House for a special live edition. Put that back up. What's the date? February 20th.
I want to say it's not limited to Florida residents because last time we did this, or one of the times in North Carolina, we had people from all over the country come see us.
That's right, Michael. And in Florida in February, there are people from all over the country. On the West Coast, it's a lot of Midwest I feel like.
Mhm.
So it's February 20th, 5 p.m. And man, are we going to have a great time. Belsky is going to come fully loaded with his
Tanned.
outlook. Yeah, tanned, of course, tanned. And I'll be tanned too. And we always have such a great time hanging with the fans. So if you are going to be in Florida this February and you want a ticket, let me tell you how you get one. Send an email right now, askthecompoundshow@gmail.com. We have a very limited quantity of tickets available, but if you're a fan of the show, we want you to grab one. So askthecompoundshow@gmail.com. All right, let's start off. We're going to do 2024 by the numbers, sort of a year in review, just to bring everyone up to speed on what actually transpired this year. This was an incredible year for so many reasons. I want to start with the major index returns. Throw this chart up. Michael, what jumps out at you here?
A continuation of the past couple of years, dare I say, decade plus of large tech leading the way.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, if you were looking for some sort of a mean reversion, you didn't get it this year.
You know, I feel like as the calendar turns, it's like cute to be a contrarian and think that just because it's January 1st, everything that happened over the last 12 months will stop and the trend will somehow magically reverse.
No.
And maybe 25 is the year, but maybe it won't be.
I think continuation is the right way to put it. The NASDAQ did 32% this year. The S&P did 27. The Russell did 12. Not bad, by the way. So maybe that was the mean reversion.
Can I say one more thing?
Up.
One more thing that stands out. So of course, large tech is, the clear standout. But I also want to point your attention to the fact that for all the hemming and hawing and the bemoaning of emerging markets and international stocks underperforming, who's mad about 9%? Now I know it's not 32, but 9's not that bad.
What's 9%?
Emerging markets.
I mean, 9% after nothing for 2 years is not great.
But small caps, like, small cap underperformance, yeah, underperform 12%. I'll take it.
Bloomberg Global Aggregate Bond Index negative 1.8%. Is that surprising? Is that about what people should have expected?
Well, I think it's because of the run up in rates over the past couple of weeks. Prior to that, it had been positive.
Yeah. So look, I still run into people that ask, like, are bonds worth owning here? Are they a helpful part of the portfolio?
Absolutely.
I mean, that was a positive number, but the purpose of the bonds is that it wasn't a guarantee that you were going to get 32% in NASDAQ this year.
If we knew, then no. Why would you have owned bonds?
Right. If I know what the stock market's going to do next year, I could tell you whether or not you need to own bonds. But because I can't, I think that's an important caveat. Let's do factor leaders and laggards. So Chart Kid Matt and Sean did a lot of work on the show to get us ready for this. And I just want to, I'll go through these numbers out loud for those who aren't looking at the chart. Momentum is the clear standout factor for 2024. It now has a 20% annualized total return over the last 5 years. This is as good of a run for any factor as any of us alive have ever seen. Momentum did another 48.4% this year. Growth was 38.6%. Quality, 27, not bad.
Only in a rip-roaring bull market could you say 27 is not bad.
I know. Low vol did 14.9%. So you made money if you were conservative this year. Just didn't make as much. That's the trade-off.
Yeah.
Value, 13.4, which we're going to talk about later. Yield, so if you were a dividend-specific investor, 7.8%. Anything here worth talking about?
It's a mirror of the previous slide.
Okay.
I got nothing else to add.
Let's look at the dogs.
Oof.
So remind people what this is.
So the dogs of the Dow are the 10 highest yielding stocks in the Dow.
So
right?
the strategy is you buy the 10 highest yielding Dow stocks, right, because generally the highest yielding means that their share prices have not kept up with the market over the prior year.
That's exactly right, Josh. And if you were looking for some mean reversion
sucks
or a trend change, it's been painful for 5 of the last 6 years. And dogs of the Dow had been a winning strategy. It's very much a value strategy. And as we all know, it's been out of favor for the last 5 years. It won't be forever, but for now it is.
The dogs of the Dow is a really tough strategy during times of massive technological transformation. And that's what we're living through. And as you can see, you had one positive year out of the last 6.
Which year was that? Was that 20? It wasn't even 22. Yeah, it was 22. Okay,
22.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but guess what? But guess
the
what? For
dogs
people-
have trailed the actual Dow by 14 percentage points this year, which is the 5th weakest performance in the last 6 years.
Yeah, and after 2022, we forget that like people were all about this, right? Think about how well value stocks did relative to growth and everything else, and you piled in 23 and you got your face ripped off.
Let's do sectors. 7 out of 11 S&P 500 sectors had double-digit returns in 24. If you lost money because of your sector weighting, you had to really go out of your way and try hard, because the biggest sectors. So communications, that's Meta and Alphabet, and I think Netflix is in there, did 36.6%. Financials, though, did 32%.
Hell yeah.
And consumer discretionary, which is Amazon and Tesla, did 29.5%. And then tech was the 4th. Tech did 24.2%. Tech would be like software semis. Apple's in there, Microsoft's in there, Nvidia's in there. But your top 4 sectors all did what the market did or slightly better. And those are also where the biggest market cap stocks are. So you had to be really pursuing a bizarre, like inverse cap weighted strategy to have screwed this year up. And some people, I suppose, managed to. But I feel like most investors had a great year. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to point to the opposite side of the chart, which is 3 of the 4 worst sectors are 3 of the smallest sectors in the market: materials, energy, and real estate. So yeah, they were horrible performers, but the index didn't really seem to mind.
Healthcare was horrific this year.
Yeah.
I have one healthcare standalone stock, Pfizer, and I think it's my worst performer.
I bought. I did after I made the case for Moderna. I did it. I pulled the trigger. I'm in.
Did it go up?
A little bit. We'll see.
Okay. My machine won't let me type that ticker symbol in. All right. Let's put this healthcare chart up. What are we seeing? This is Ned Davis research.
So this is
so bad.
This is a really clever chart. I've never seen anything like this before. This line chart shows all the previous bull markets for the stock market, and it shows the relative performance of healthcare in those previous runs. And this, by far, has been the weakest performance for healthcare relative to the market in a bull market.
The red line,
just off the chart, just off the charts, disgusting. So I think that if you're looking for some sort of regime change, or maybe you want to get cute in 2025, this is pretty much blown all the way out.
I had dinner with a very good friends of ours, and the husband works as an investment banker in specifically healthcare and biotech. And he travels all over the country talking to companies, not talking to investors, but like management teams of companies that are either doing an IPO or considering M&A. And his comment was basically like GLP-1s sucked all the air out of the room, and anybody working on any kind of drugs that's not related to the weight loss, diabetes stuff, it's not that they're not doing well. It's they just can't get anyone's attention. They can't get portfolio managers' attention. Yeah, nobody really wants to hear about. It's not. So there's a lot of like obviously great work. But by the way, Il Molino, Roslyn, I'm gonna go on the record right now. I'm just gonna tell you it's the best. It's the best Italian restaurant on Long Island, and there are many, many very good ones.
No, that's a good take. I like it a lot. I especially like the bricks of Parmesan cheese they put on the table in the beginning.
So they start the meal
that gets me going.
The thin sliced eggplant marinated in olive oil and garlic,
so
the bruschetta, like the tomato and onion, and then they drop that Parmesan wheel on the side of your table. It's like a Flintstone, like it's going to tip the table over, and they take a little spade and they chunk it out for you.
It's so good.
Why doesn't every restaurant like rev my engine like that when I sit down?
I'm a huge fan of you go to the table and boom, there's like something for you.
Yeah.
Something to wet the whistle, so to speak.
Anyway, so healthcare, it's not that they're, look, if you owned Lilly this year, or you owned like Novo Nordisk, like you made money. But like,
what if you owned CVS? Remember that whale hedge fund manager?
Yeah. United Health had a horrendous year for obvious reasons. It's just a lot of the large caps in the healthcare sector just were MIA, and they're not part of the bull market that we're currently experiencing, at least not yet. ETF AUM broke a record, right? I think it's $1 trillion in inflows across the board. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
What is this chart showing us? That $10 trillion now in US ETFs, which is enormous.
So we're looking at passive to active. It's like 10 to 1 passive versus active. And then
flows or AUM?
AUM.
Okay, got it. So just to go through this, the active equity AUM ETF universe is $897 billion.
But let's also point out that that universe had a hell of a year because a lot of it was things that were getting inflows for the first time in a long time. So even though it's just a fraction, these are wildly profitable. This was a great year for active ETFs.
And even fixed income, is that 1.7 trillion in active fixed income?
Yeah, well, Todd Sone's all over this. He has a chart showing the explosive rise in fixed income ETFs versus mutual fund counterparts, and it's doing what you think it would be doing.
Well, we had Rick Reeder on the last Compound and Friends.
That was so good.
Second to, it's like a blur. We did Rick Reeder and Harvey Schwartz back to back, which is insanity.
And did we do Cliff before that?
And then Nick? We had Nick Colas and Cliff Asness, like the last 4 shows.
We were on a heater.
Sick. It's crazy. All right. This comes from the JP Morgan Guide to ETFs. What are we looking at?
The milestone, 10 trill.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to believe. I mean,
when were we at 5 trill?
Like 3 years ago. 2020. No, we crossed 5 trill in 21. It's unbelievable.
Okay. So we know where the money is coming from. It's coming from everywhere. But a lot of it is leaving the actively managed mutual fund.
And a lot of conversions.
Yeah. So a record year of actively managed outflows. Like the FT wrote about this, and it's like one of the biggest trends of the year is people just saying, even if they're allocating to active, they just do not want mutual funds.
ETFs are the biggest.
Does not want them.
The biggest story in financial markets, in my opinion, of the century.
Bitcoin's ETF is a record launch.
Not even close.
No, it's a record.
No, I'm saying, and there's not even the number 2. I don't even know number 2 is so far behind.
Nope. Right. Nobody has ever launched an ETF in any category that has raised assets at the rate that the BlackRock.
And I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out on a limb and say never's a long time, but I don't think we'll ever see anything like this ever again.
Wait for Solana. Okay. IPOs. So I thought this was interesting. This is the last piece of the puzzle, and maybe we get it this year. And there are structural reasons why we're not getting a boom in IPOs alongside of the stock market, which historically you always would have gotten. And those structural reasons include how easy it is to raise money in the private market, how easy it is to stay public, how much liquidity there is for people that want exits while private, and just a host of other factors, too numerous to mention. But we did get a lift. So this year, we did 146 IPOs worth $29.6 billion. Last year, it was 108 deals worth 19.4. So that's a 50% increase.
Yeah, it's big.
If you're anchored to that 2021 number, you might never see that again when we got almost 400 deals raising 142 billion. That was SPAC mania. The thing to keep in mind with this, the dollar amounts, those are going to be heavily affected by like the big deals. And
do you think we see like a giant one next year? Stripe, SpaceX, anything like that?
They say SpaceX end of the year 25. We're going to bring out Aaron Dillon back to ask these questions of, but I think Stripe, SpaceX, Databricks, OpenAI, there's like there are companies that people think are $500 billion or more companies at some point. That they won't come public necessarily at that valuation, but when those deals come, you're going to see that blue line pop up, and maybe that'll be the signal that, okay, this thing's gotten carried away. We're starting to peak in IPO terms, but that didn't happen. We got an improvement, but that's pretty much it. I want to show you M&A.
Wait, hold on. Before that, can I give a credit to you? Did you bought Reddit after the giant gap higher?
I bought it at 112. I bought it at 112. It's 170.
So that's a pro move. So on Tuesday, October 29th, Reddit closed at $82 a share. And the next day, after a blowout earnings release, it closed at 116. So from 82 to 116. And that's a hard buy. that
It's not though.
no, it is.
You
No,
know
hold on.
this.
No, I know this. I'm saying for most people, you're like, oh, I missed it. And professional investors buy that. So credit to you. So you bought it after a 30% move, whatever it was, and now it's up another gazillion percent.
I'm up 50%.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah.
And what I did after that gap, here's what I did. I loaded up the last 4 podcast appearances that the CEO of Reddit made. He talked to Kara Swisher. He did he had, and these are not necessarily recent, just anything from the prior year and a half, 2 years. And I listened to him talk about the opportunity in Reddit before they crushed earnings. So I listened to like 3 or 4 interviews. Then I listened to the conference call itself that produced that gap. And I walked in the next day and I bought the stock because I understood that what's happening at Reddit why am I talking about like Dan Ives? What's happening at Reddit is like a delayed reaction to the groundwork that they've been laying for 20 years. Now they're a serious contender in the advertising business when before it was just kind of like a hobby.
Well, Twitter's loss has been Reddit's gain.
Yes. The deal with Google putting Reddit results as the top 3 search results on Google led to this massive influx of traffic. And now,
dude, that's how I found Reddit.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm 15 years late, but I was never a Reddit user until Google put it up.
Right. And by the way, one of the things that Steve Huffman was talking about, and by the way, Steve Huffman is a founder of Reddit. He's not like an installed CEO they got from McKinsey. And this is really important. The reason he's the CEO of Reddit is because Sam Altman basically begged them to come back to the company. They were in the wilderness prior to coming public. And Altman was on the board and just was like, you got to come back and do this. They are now striking deals with people like Sam Altman. All of the LLMs want to incorporate Reddit data into their training because that's 20 years of user-generated content, some of the richest informational content that exists anywhere on the internet. The sheer volume of it dwarfs whatever the New York Times is selling. Because it's millions of people commenting about their lived experiences with products, with services, with events, and expertise, and all of that is becoming, I think, like the weapon arsenal for large LLMs large language models that want to have useful results. So they struck a deal, I think, with Alphabet, but I know they're talking to everyone in Silicon Valley about what their data costs. And that's like a huge line of business for Reddit. And every day the sun comes up and 100 million DAUs come on the site and add more content to that already incredible library of information. So
did you ever add to your position on the way up?
I don't need to because the market edits my position.
Great trade.
Still long. All right. But I have a stop loss in because it's gone up a lot. So I just want to full disclosure. All right. M&A. This is just North America. So consider this just United States. We haven't had a bubble here. So if you're one of these people, it's like, oh, they don't ring a bell at the top. Well, they're not ringing a bell here. We did, what is that number? 1.9, excuse me.
Trill.
1.9 trillion, 17,574 transactions M&A wise, which is about the same as last year. Slightly elevated, but not really.
I think you're more likely for this to be 50% higher next year than IPOs.
So I'm going to make that call too. I don't think that Trump 2.0 means the floodgates open with IPOs. I think they'll go higher. I think where you're really going to see the sex is media companies and tech companies that have not been allowed to merge effectively. Like for 5 years, nobody's even attempted anything. That's really going to change here. And I think you're going to see all kinds of spinoffs. You're going to see acquisitions. You're going to see mergers of equals, more private equity activity as well. So I would look for this to be where you see evidence of overly bullish sentiment.
I agree.
All right. Household wealth, new record, $159 trillion in U.S. household net worth.
This sends in tears.
Yeah. Okay. I guess how do you look at this chart and say America is fucked up?
Well,
Like you have to go to the second derivative and say, well, what's the distribution?
well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Fine, we agree.
Yeah.
We agree. Inequality. There's always inequality, though.
So the world's 500 richest people, I saw this headline from Bloomberg this morning, just said 10 trill.
Yeah, it's normal. Listen, is it ideal? Is the concentration of the wealth of this country ideal? No, but please understand, inside of this $159 trillion in net worth, that's net of debt, there are a lot of average, ordinary people who have done very well for themselves as investors over the last few years.
I was reading
Can't deny it.
I was reading a book on vacation that's from 2012. And the number that stood out to me was there was 400,000 Americans almost 15 years ago that had a net worth of $5 million or more. And that number is obviously significantly higher today.
It's millions now.
Millions.
Yeah. Next chart. Average US 401k balance by age. Great job on this chart, kid Matt. So, as you might imagine, people above the age of 55, through 70 and higher, are all about $250,000 in, again, average 401k balance. But what's more interesting to me is looking at this cohort 30 to 50. These are the working on their way to becoming wealthy people. And if they keep going, they will join that cohort with an average balance of 250, but it'll probably be higher then. It'll probably be like in 10 years, those numbers at the top end will probably be $300,000 to $350,000 average balances. And this is how it's supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
So anything in here that surprise, I guess maybe I'm a little surprised. 7,200 for 20 years old to 24 years old. I feel like that's like not enough.
Listen, this is the epitome, as Nick Majuli would say, of just keep buying. Like, it works. And it doesn't mean that stock markets go up every time or all the time, but you just keep buying.
It flatlines at 65 because people are taking money out.
Yeah.
Or